Zachary, we are live. I don't know why I called you Zachary. That felt weird.
I think that's the first time you ever called me Zachary.
I know. I don't like that. I can call you Zach. Is that better?
That's more acceptable.
Yeah. Well, your microphone's working now, so that's good.
What an insanely frustrating last 15 minutes that I've had.
Yeah, this is going to go down in the history. The people listening to this are going to be like, what are you talking about? Because they haven't been here for the last 20 minutes while you've tried to fix your microphone. This will go down as the annals of history, as the ballad of the broken mic.
Let's just hope that the internet connection stays good, because I thought it was my internet for a bit, and I'm running off my cell phone hotspot right now. So.
Oh, wow. So that might also be it.
That might also be it. You know, you never know.
We'll figure it out later. That's tomorrow's problem. But for now, is that a thing? Today, I was going to say today, and then I'd switch to now halfway through like a 5-letter word. So I'm really good at speak talking. Yeah, why not? It's a new word now. To now.
So the people joining us live, I'm sorry you had to wait a little bit. My bad. Wi-Fi, microphone problems. Something was happening, but I found this gaming headset. Luckily, our guest recommended I get a gaming headset, so I went and found one. But welcome to Black Series Cantina, episode 45. I'm Zach, of course, joined with Mike, as always.
That's right. We
don't have a whole lot of Black Series news to talk about, and normally, whenever we say that, we kind of have we have to scrap away to get a good show. But today, I think we have an amazing show for you all.
Yeah, we put it on easy mode, honestly.
Yeah. So we're going to have an absolute amazing show. And let's welcome our guest, Sarah Lynn Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Wow.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Great.
I'm good.
Thank you.
Nice.
So for the people who don't know who Sarah is, I may be wrong, maybe right, freelancer, toy sculptor, works for Hasbro. So introduce yourself to the audience, please.
Yeah, like they said, I'm a sculptor for Hasbro. So I've made action figures for Black Series and a lot of Hasbro's other lines. Obviously, Power Rangers too. I'm wearing my Power Ranger shirt right now. So done stuff for that, done stuff for Marvel, a lot of stuff for Dungeons and Dragons right now that's in the works. Just most of their major IPs, honestly. And other companies too. I work with other companies also.
being a freelancer, you just go to the highest bidder kind of thing. Does someone come in with a big old suitcase of money and just...
Sometimes a company did that recently, so I've been working with them a little bit more.
Man, of course you are. I would too.
Yeah. All I could say about that is it's a very exciting video game project. Not actually sculpting for a game, but the toys for a game. So
yeah, because you are primarily you're an artist type person, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when I was a kid, because I like toys, obviously. And I was always like, I want to make toys. And then I realized 90% of making toys is art. Back then it was actual sculpting. Like when you I sculpt, it's like a clay, and they're actually they got a knife or whatever, and they're sculpting things. Mm-hmm. Now you do it in ZBrush, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's digital designing is also, it's like when we call film, I'm filming something, even though there's no film involved anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still sculpting. It is people think it's not, I guess, but it definitely is.
Yeah, it's a term.
Digital,
exactly. Yeah. It's digital sculpting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, actually my managers for Hasbro, a lot of them started in clay, because they only really recently, within the last 20 years, went over to digital. And so when I was in-house at Hasbro, they actually took us to the old model making room and showed us around, and they pulled in some of the other designers from Kenner, from back in the day, and they were all reminiscing about all the stuff. And they were showing us they still had a lot of the supplies around for some reason, even though no one used the rooms. But so that was a pretty fun tour.
Kind of a museum at that point.
Oh yeah, pretty much. It was fun.
Yeah.
So how does someone get started how did you get started into working for or with Hasbro in sculpting toys for
He's
them?
asking for a friend.
Yeah. So
not
for
me, I can't draw for shit, so it won't be me.
That's my problem.
Yeah, it did start with drawing, unfortunately. Yeah. It did start with drawing. So basically, I went to school for video game art and design. And ZBrush is used in a lot of stuff, like for the pipeline for games. So I already kind of knew ZBrush a little bit. And Hasbro came in and ran a workshop through our school. And so I submitted a design and a portfolio. And they liked what I drew, and they liked my, portfolio for sculpting. And so I was, allowed to be in the workshop. They selected me. And then after I think like 6 months or something, we completed a figure based on our original drawing. And so after that, I interviewed with them, and they, took me in-house. And so I did a contract for a year in-house, and I really learned how to make action figures after that. And then since then, I've been freelance with them.
That makes sense. That's cool. Do you remember what like toy you worked on?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's still up on my art station, but it was like a really crazy, like undersea big, like abomination guy. And like he had I think like an octopus coming off of him or something like that. It was fun.
That sounds cool.
It was cool. I had a lot of fun
with that design.
Yeah.
What are some of like the harder aspects of creating a toy? Because I know they probably give you, like, do they tell you we want this figure to have like butterfly joints, and you have to work that in the sculpt? That has to be like really challenging, I would imagine.
It definitely is. It's hard to do without compromising the art and the aesthetics, obviously. Some figures are harder than others to do. But yeah, it's usually like they'll tell me exactly what articulation they want, and then I just try my best to incorporate it and not make it look gross, or ugly. Kind of thing. But it is hard. Sometimes it's what the hardest stuff is sometimes like what you'd not expect to be hard. Like actually some of the girls' toys are a little bit harder to engineer than like even Black Series stuff and everything. Black Series stuff is usually pretty chill. The G.I. Joe stuff can get a little bit difficult, and a Clipter was actually really tough to do, surprisingly. We talked about a Clipter earlier.
We did. We talked about it before we started, because I looking at Sarah's Instagram, I was like, oh, I have that toy. So I have a little Sarah Lynn Reynolds collection.
That's awesome.
On my desk right now, just for the occasion. So the first thing I did was I had just pulled the clip door off my shelf because I ran out of room. And as much as I love collecting a bunch of different toys, Power Rangers is lower on the totem pole.
Sure.
So I kept the 6 core MMPR people, but all the cool, because I like the bad guys. I don't really like, I've never watched, I think this guy's from like In Space or something.
Yeah, I've never watched the series either, but I love the designs of the villains.
Exactly.
So I'm totally on the same page there. I just have to own a piece of merch for everything I've worked on. Like that's my rule. So every IP I worked on, I have to, aside from Space Jam, I don't think I can actually own any. I don't think I want to do that. I don't want to talk about those toys ever again, to be honest with you. I shouldn't have brought it up right now.
I will not ask you about. I was going to ask you what was your least favorite thing you've ever worked on, but I think we just got the answer.
Space Jam. Yeah.
Space Jam. I'm assuming the new Space Jam.
The LeBron Space Jam movie?
Yeah, the new one. Yeah.
Wait, are we hating on the LeBron Space Jam movie right
I've
now?
Never seen
I'm
it.
Wearing the LeBron.
I've never seen it, but
jersey shirt right now.
Sorry. Listen, he's a great businessman. I'm sure the movie was great. Never seen it. But, just a little insider baseball, I guess. Like, I just did not have fun.
That's fair. No, this is all about
I'll
insider
never
baseball.
show anybody those toys. Well, they're on a shelf somewhere, but I'll never actually post what I mean.
You're not going to put your name on them, basically.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like the audience might feel the same because they were scratching out LeBron's eyes in the stores, apparently. In Walmart.
Oh, really?
That was a big thing I saw online. Yeah.
They were stealing his head too. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. That whole situation is not my fault. So if you if you have personally been affected by the Space Jam toys, don't blame me.
Somewhere there's someone on a couch and they're shaking back and forth. That's Sarah.
Listen,
Sarah, she made Space Jam toys.
I'm right there with you. I had a bad experience.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that took a turn. So we talk about Black Series. No, I'm kidding. We could talk about whatever. Yeah. So just to talk about the things that I have but I know Zach's got some stuff here.
Yeah, I got a couple also.
What do you have, Zach? Because I'll pull it out too. Because everything you have, I have.
I'm interested in this. You did the Han Solo.
Yeah.
The new Force Awakens.
Yes, I did his portrait.
The head.
Just the head.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you followed the controversy when they announced this. People were like, "Oh, it's the same head. It's the same head. It's not a different head."
Not. I get it.
And online it was harder to see, but in person it's it's night and day. Way better.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
This literally looks like Harrison Ford just standing in the room, like a miniature version. Was it difficult to get the likeness that good, or did you have like a 3D scan?
I did have a base. So I did work off of probably the base of the whatever figure you're talking about, but they wanted to update it and make it look nicer. Yeah. So as far as that, I did, have something to work from, but it was still pretty different, I feel like. And it's still like, I don't know, it's still hard to do likenesses, but it was easier than maybe some likenesses, I'd say.
Okay.
That don't have anything.
It's one of the better likenesses in the line, I would say.
Thanks.
So he has kind of like a smirk kind of thing. Is that a choice you made, or did they say he's got to have a smirk? Like who made the artistic choice for his facial expression?
Well, that was between me and the designer, so I think it was like kind of a collaborative thing. Like I don't say I'm like completely responsible for all the choices, but I don't think they had any revisions on the expression.
Okay,
I think that's what as far as I remember. I could be wrong.
That's a flex.
Yeah, me and Tom Rigo, I think, who worked on that.
Yeah, so Tom was the guy. This is something we'll talk about later, but there was a big ZBrush like 5 hour long force. Made a couple
weeks ago.
Way back a couple weeks ago, and he was on that, and that's where I heard his name the first time, and that's actually the first time I heard about ZBrush. So it was like a weird coincidence that I'm like, oh, it's a big ZBrush thing, and then we're having Sarah who works with ZBrush on ZBrush.
Very
using,
cool.
Anyway, as neat. It was a weird coincidence.
Yeah. If you're interested in like more of it, there's ZBrush summits with Paul Bennett, who he doesn't work on vintage anymore, but he did a really great presentation a couple years ago. You can find on YouTube. So yeah.
Cool.
Did whenever you're working on like a Black Series figure, do they sometimes tell you do you have to look at the vintage collection and scale it up sometimes, or vice versa? Are there any figures that you've had to do that with?
I've done that in reverse. So I took Fennec Shan's 6-inch figure and brought it down to the vintage scale. So I don't really post stuff like that because it's usually not super artistic work. You're like you're doing some sculpting, but it's all often like resizing stuff and just making sure it's thick enough for production and all that stuff.
Because it can't be too thin for the
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in reverse, I did see that they, I think, brought the vintage mall that I did up to Black Series, but I don't know who did that. I don't know how much of my figure they used. It looks like they used a large majority of it. So I would say for that, I think sometimes, but I think it's more common in reverse, but I could be wrong. But
I was going to say, because when I was looking through your Instagram, I was like, oh, she did mall? Oh, it's the TVC version. But it looks the same. Like, I couldn't tell.
Right. Like, I think maybe they updated the expression or something. I'm not really sure what they did, but I
think he's got butterfly joints.
Yeah, they added those in too.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is really neat. Did you work on the Rancor at all?
I didn't. A friend of mine, Rebecca, did that. Former coworker.
We have merch. Yeah.
You have merch? It failed though, right?
Yes. We were super sad. We were
on the train.
3 of those.
The Rancor. The Rancor was the best part of Book of Boba Fett. Rancor Kong easily. At the end, best part of Boba Fett.
Rancor Kong. Yep. Yep. Easily.
Yeah, we were both big Rancor backers, and we were very sad that I couldn't back the extra 400 that it was missing.
It would have been very cool to see it.
I know. Yeah. I had a spot on my shelf and everything for it. It was just heartbreaking.
It sucks.
Do you do? I noticed that you did like the sort of soft goods and like backpack type things on the Razor Crest. Do you do a lot of work for the HasLabs or?
Sometimes those are concept projects that don't ever see the light of day. So there was a really cool one for Dungeons and Dragons that I did that is probably one of my favorite sculpts that I've ever done that I'll never be able to show anyone because I don't think it does suck. It was super cool too, but I just think it was one of those things that they were like, this is going to be so expensive to manufacture and like so expensive for consumers to buy that I don't think they thought it was quite worth it.
Now
I'm trying.
Cool. Now I'm trying to. Was it from the movie? I'm trying to rack my brain.
It wasn't from the movie.
Oh, okay. All right. I like the movie. It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing that if you want to talk about articulation, the displacer was really fun to articulate. And that was interesting because I've never really done anything with like the pipes. They put the pipe in the tentacles. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. I had a lot of fun on that project, but that was some unusual articulation, right? Because it has like 6 legs and you have to make sure everything is. Yeah.
Does that happen often whenever a company, say Hasbro, comes to you? They want you to design a figure, and then 2 years later, you're still waiting for them to, I guess they're shelving this. I guess they're not releasing it. Or is there a lot of stuff that...
It used to happen more often. It doesn't happen quite as much. But sometimes they'll give me a heads up like, hey, this is a concept sculpt. But definitely back in the day, a lot of my favorite things are concept that I just will never show anybody and can't, which sucks, but what can you do?
Yeah. Do you like you go walk into Target and like pop in the aisle and say, oh, I did that.
I do. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. Or people will send me pictures too, if they're in Target and they're like, oh, you made this. So, yeah. So that's always fun. I'll occasionally like take a stroll over to the toy aisle and see if anything I made is out.
When we get Tala, I'll take some fun pictures and tag you on them.
Yeah. Tala's. I'm excited for Tala, and and I know you did the new Mon Mothma from Andor. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Did you do that head to toe, or are they just certain parts of that?
Yeah, head to toe. Yeah, there was no real scan for that.
Oh
so
wow.
That's from
impressive.
Scratch. I believe was Tala from scratch. I think she was. I'm not sure. It's hard to remember sometimes.
Well, as someone that remembers weird things like that, I can't think of any part of her that would have been existing before, because there hasn't really been like a female body for like the Imperial look.
Yeah. They do what was I just going to say? Sorry, I just totally lost what I was going to say. They do scan people for Marvel, and they do sometimes for Star Wars too. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's the ones that I've been on recently just haven't had like very current scan data. So I don't know.
That's wild, because a lot of the figures lately, the quality of them has just gone up so much so whenever you're like buying it, I just assume that they have like a 3D scan of this.
Sometimes they do, yeah. So I think for like the She-Hulk one, I don't know, I can't speak for that one, but like I felt like that likeness looked so good that I was like, Shulong's a great sculptor, but I was like, did they scan that or did he do that? But it was just perfect, So I was also wondering, wasn't sure myself. But yeah,
that makes sense, because if you think about it, even with like the start of the Black Series in 2013, the sculpts have always been really good, because customizers, you just got to get the right paint on them. I know at a mass scale, Hasbro putting the right amount of paint or the right quality of paint on there can kind of hide all the sculpting detail that's really on the face there.
So you did also Lady J from the classified line. Are you hat or no hat on her? Because
I like the hat personally. You don't like the hat?
I grew up with the cartoon, so I've always been more of a no hat person.
Hat, okay.
But I will say I'm not no hair. Because
I have her on my desk here, and there's no hair right now. So
that's funny. Yeah,
no hair person. That's what I keep these on my desk for like reference sometimes. So when you're working, you can grab stuff and be like, how does that?
Yeah, that's why I keep mine on my desk too. I definitely don't just play them throughout the day for sure. Yeah, it's a reference. So we talked about what's been your favorite thing or least favorite thing to work on. What's been your favorite?
Oh man, stuff I can't talk about for D&D for sure. Lately has been a lot of fun. I've had a great time with that. I had a really good time with the minis for Hero Quest too. Okay. So recently, just like kind of doing those like board game brands has been really great. As far as Star Wars, I would say Mon Mothma for sure, because I love Andor. Like Andor is such a masterpiece. It was just a huge honor to get to work on her. She's such a great character, right? So for that was good. I'd say like the one I felt like I did the best job with artistically was probably Tala. I know she's a smaller character, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel like her likeness was really good, and I'm very happy with how she came out. But yeah.
So question about the timeline for that. So Mon Mothma, I got mine back in like January because I got it from Canada. It's just now hitting the States.
Yeah.
She's been on pre-order for a while.
Yeah.
How long ago did you work on her? Like, how old is that for you?
Man, I think that was a 2021 project. I could look at my files, but I think it was about 2 years ago. I could be wrong though.
So, because we always tell people, like, how come it takes so long or whatever, and the answer is always like, that's how long it takes. Like, to go from designing to production, it's like a year and a half, 2 years.
Well, with the pre-orders, like too, like now you can see stuff a little bit sooner. I feel like, and before you couldn't even see anything for a really long time. So it's kind of been nice that there's been, I feel like, more pre-orders or
Yeah, and
for sure.
Hasbro's also said that Lucasfilm is so secretive with characters, so a lot of times they see like Grogu when we see Grogu, and then they got.
Yeah, I was surprised that Hasbro got Andor figures ahead of time.
Well,
that was impressive.
Normally we do, like, I mean, I saw all the Han Solo stuff before any of those trailers came out, right? Like we do see stuff ahead of time, like so stuff does get spoiled sometimes for us, but that's
the burden
always
you bear.
Yeah, that's the But there's always a little bit of spoilers, and you're like,
well, it's very clear that like Hasbro got nothing from Book of Boba Fett. Like, we're just now a year and a half, 2 years later getting Book of Boba Fett stuff,
Yeah, I don't know if they just thought maybe it wouldn't sell. Like, I'm not sure. Like, a lot of the Han Solo stuff I was on got canceled midway through. Yeah. Prior to the movie coming out. I don't know what metrics they use to figure out what is going to be canceled. But yeah, most of those figures were really
fun. Could you talk about anything that got canceled?
I probably can't, but it was a lot of main characters, right?
Okay. All right. So basically all the main characters people wanted, and they're like, I wonder if
main
they'll ever do this.
Yeah. Over multiple lines,
Okay.
So
So there goes my Kira on Kessel Black Series hopes right there.
I mean, that was such a good outfit too.
Down the drain.
I don't know. I can't say.
I don't know.
Who can say?
Wink. I can't say.
Who can say? Who can say? Didn't they
Officially,
do
Sarah hasn't said anything.
Series of her? Does she
we got there was a Corellian one from the beginning of the movie.
One when she's a kid in the beginning of the movie, but not her best look in the show where she has like the cape.
No, that red outfit or whatever is definitely her, like, one of the best looks for sure.
Yeah. Can't say a lot about that.
Okay. All right. We'll back off.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, you got NDA stuff.
Sarah.
What I don't want to do is hold on. I like Sarah's work. I don't want to threaten her job because of our stupid podcast. Okay. It's not worth it, Sarah.
I might let something slip. No, I'm just kidding. Someone did have to edit something I said out of another podcast, so we're live.
No.
So we're in dangerous waters here. I'm just kidding.
We're
don't
only
fire
live
me.
to like 10 people. So, it's not. It can't be worse than Patrick dropping the Rancor bomb like months before.
Oh, did he say they were working on it? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Like
he
way before
revealed it, and then they were like, "Oh, completely ignore." But they just went on.
I haven't done anything that bad.
No.
So
yeah, that's
You're not Tom Hollanding a MCU movie or anything where you
I was gonna ask, whenever they send you a figure, do you have a lot of, maybe it's like specifically with Star Wars, or other lines too? Do you have, like, how much freedom do you have to change how it looks and maybe the expression or some of the costume design?
With Star Wars, not much at all, because Lucasfilm is very protective of the IP for, obvious reasons. So they have final approval on everything. Everything goes through them. If the heel of a boot is slightly off, they're going to be like, nope, you got to fix this. So it's very specific. Different brands like D&D, I have a lot more freedom. And so that's been great for me. That's why I've been enjoying that a little bit more. I still obviously really like sculpting for Star Wars. It's great, but it does definitely have to be very like, to the to the costume, to the
tees,
right.
Well, it's not just that; it's the nerds. Honestly, if you sculpt it wrong, like that's all they'll talk about is how something doesn't look exactly.
Yeah. They notice details. There was something about a vehicle I was reading in an Instagram comment the other day, and I was like, how do people know about this? It wasn't my stuff. Obviously, I'm perfect. I don't do anything.
Of course.
We were making fun of somebody saying that the Walmart exclusive Andor didn't have the right boots on. We were like, really? You're drawing the line at boots?
At boots?
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Like I can understand some things if it like changes from pre-production or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but this guy was mad about the boots not being like 100%
You know,
accurate. It's like, really?
It's not accurate. He has a point. I'm surprised I didn't catch that though. That's surprising. They probably reused something.
They reused it is the problem.
Yeah.
It was a budget issue. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so like just my one question. So I have the second sister Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go.
She was one of my favorites too.
Did they ever at any point do a non-helmeted version of this?
No, unfortunately. It would be fun to have Janenica Monclar or whatever that actress's name 100%. Is. Yeah, she's great. But no, unfortunately, they didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I prefer the cape, honestly, because I think the cape looks cool for sure.
Cape was a lot of fun to make. Yeah.
Yeah, I love my Inquisitors. So that's one of my favorite parts of the new Star Wars canon. I dig Inquisitors.
Their designs are great. I'm also a big fan of the Empire design. So that was really fun to work on.
Cool. So what's your favorite? What's your favorite property? Like if you could just do one property for the rest of your life.
Oh man.
You're putting her in a spot here.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm just curious. I'm trying to unlock her as a person by pigeonholing her, by pigeonholing you into one specific thing. Like,
man.
All of her Hasbro buddies are going to be like, really?
No, I'm trying to start fights.
That's rough. You know, I can't. I'm not even gonna. I don't know. I'd probably just do my own work. Do my own stuff.
Okay, cool. Pitch us a toy line. No. Yeah. I've got a whole bunch of Mythic Legions back here. I love independent toy lines. Pitch it to us. What do you got? What kind of?
I don't know. Like anything related to like cryptids and mythology. I'm really into that stuff. It would be a lot of fun. I think I have up on my Instagram like a little like gnome duende guy I made. So probably stuff like that. Little bit horrific. Little bit creature. I like doing creature stuff. I like kaijus.
I see you got a Baphomet on there. Give me a 6-inch scale Baphomet and we're in business. Okay.
Oh, I actually have it over. I have it on over there. I have it printed out. But yeah, stuff like that basically. That's that was actually fan art for a game called Cult of the Lamb. So big fan of that game. If you haven't played it and you like simulation rogue games, highly recommend that. Yeah.
Fair enough. I like that.
Have you ever gotten into 3D printing a little bit? Like, I'm sure you could sculpt some amazing stuff for 3D prints.
Yeah, so that's what I was just talking about. I have the 3D print of the Baphomet over there. And I did print out that duende I was talking about too, the little gnome guy on my thing.
What kind of printer do you run?
I don't have one personally, but I'm like, that is a level of like nerdiness that
Luke, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
Zach, I'm over here 3D printing stuff like crazy.
That's cool. You know what? I wish that I had like the brain that wanted to troubleshoot like that. The problem is that I just don't have the patience. I want to just like make the art and have it come out, you know? So I usually just pay someone on Etsy to print my stuff for me and then
that's fair.
Do it that way.
Yeah, fortunately,
Zach's here listening. Why don't you print stuff for Zach?
Luke, and then I print all the stuff he designs. Here's all my 3D prints right here.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to line it up good, but yeah, there's Palpatine's throne and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but I don't design them. I just print them, and fortunately, I haven't ran into any crazy tech issues with the printer.
That's good. If you ever want any horror toys, you can print some of my stuff.
Okay,
there you go.
I'll take the files for sure.
Nice.
Is it as long as they're not like resin? I don't have a resin printer. I have a like print the filament stuff. So
it's all good.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm down for that. But yeah, I bet you could honestly. I'm not sure if you would be allowed to since you contract with Hasbro, but you could probably just make your own like Star Wars stuff for people to 3D print, and you can make so much. Can make so much money from it for sure.
I think Star Wars, the IP stuff, would be too much of probably a conflict of interest, like copyright wise.
You could do Star Trek, like Star Walls or something like Space Walls. You know,
I'm not a Trekkie. As far as sci-fi goes, if I was going to work on a sci-fi series, I would probably say The Expanse. It would be fun. I've actually thought about making some fan art.
Expanse is so good, though.
Yeah. I've thought about doing some fan art Expanse action figures, but I have no time to do anything. But if I had all the time in the world, I would probably, be out here making Amos and Bobby. And
I was gonna say, I need an Amos. I need a Bobby and her power armor. Like, I need all of that.
Yeah.
Now, are you a book person? Are you are you a show person?
I'm okay. So I started for Expanse show. I did start the book. I haven't finished it yet, but it seems pretty similar so far. So that's cool. Yeah. Yeah. But I want to read the rest of it, but I haven't yet. But I do read a lot of books. Yeah.
So well, the books go further than the show did, because the show stops and then there's like a 30-year break. It's like basically between.
Heard,
yeah. And it gets crazy towards the end. But
they're also making like a Telltale game of.
Yes,
I don't
they
know
are.
If you've heard of, but that's I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be really cool.
I have a question. Did you enjoy working on the Star Wars Mission Fleet stuff? Oh yeah, I love that line. I don't know if it's still going or not, but I worked with Paul Bennett on those, and I think Emily Cantalupe did some of the designs for those too. And that was such a fun line. Like, I love that line. Mm-hmm. I love the style. It is really neat. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at that Captain Rex ATRT right now. Yeah, that was fun. And it just looks like a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All the stuff I made for that was cool. There's also stuff for that I don't know if I can say this. There's stuff that I made for that never got released, which sucks, but there was a lot of cool characters that was something that got cut too. Yeah, I don't know if are they not doing that line anymore? I have no idea. I don't know. I know the big thing now is those ships. Mike, what's that line
That's
called
Jazzwares
again?
though. That's not Hasbro.
Yeah, that's not Hasbro.
That's
Yeah, I'm
so
not
have you
sure.
worked with like all of the top companies or?
Not Mattel. I haven't worked with Mattel.
You heard it here first. Sarah doesn't like Mattel.
I don't listen. I'm sure they're great. I just haven't worked with them. I actually haven't worked with that many mainline companies. I've worked with some I don't want to name. Not NECA. I would love to work with NECA. NECA's great.
You could do you could be into the horror stuff for NECA, right?
I know. Yeah. Cool. If someone who works for NECA is listening to this, I would love to sculpt for them. That's
right, Mr. NECA. If you're listening to this, we know you're
Mr. NECA.
Mr. NECA.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah. You can check out her Instagram. She's got a business contact on there.
Yeah.
You'll get that Black Series Cantina bump. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
We're about to open that world for you.
Oh wow!
For sure.
Very excited.
I'll tag you for my Instagram page. Maybe NECA will take notice.
Ooh,
for sure.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, the Mission Fleet stuff is really cool. They should have done more of that. For sure.
Definitely, totally agree. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk Chieftain.
Oh yeah.
The Tuscan
Chieftain.
I'm just super so. When it got announced, again, I have one of those weird eyes that people are like, this isn't right, or this is the same. What's new on there? I want to know if I'm right about this. What is new?
Oh God,
on that
I have
Chieftain?
to actually look at it
what
to tell you.
What did you sculpt? Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up on my Instagram.
What did the process? I don't know what the process looked like. They're like, okay, we're gonna do this character. Mm-hmm. Like what new do you need? Did you know what new was needed? Or because I know there's reuse on there. Like, do they come with you? Like, we're going to reuse these parts. These have to be new, or do you make that decision?
No, they tell me because they know, obviously what's going to be cheapest to manufacture and what's worth making. So the whole the shirt, the smock thing, that's all new. Okay. The legs are reused. I don't know. The weapon's obviously new. Head is new. Can't remember if the arms are new. Not sure.
I think just the arms and legs are reused.
I think so. I think the torso and the head and the obviously necklace and everything else is new. I mean, I think it's fine to reuse that stuff. They're just
absolutely
the same.
Do you have any input on the color?
No.
Or paint? Or you
Zero.
Strictly
Don't blame me.
You just do the gray model, sculpting.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way, but I just do sculpting. I do think the paint job on the Raider, the Chieftain, came out really well, though.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the paint on the soft goods. They rarely do that these days with multiple colors on soft goods. Yeah,
the soft goods look amazing. Honestly, I was really impressed with that.
Is there typically a lot of back and forth whenever you're sending in a figure? Do they ever take the first draft sort of a sculpt? Or is it a lot of I guess Lucasfilm would have a say in all that too.
There's usually some back and forth, like some small level of it, but nothing too crazy. The most back and forth is usually on, I would say, G.I. Joe, because often they're designing through sculptors, which is not as common on other lines. By that, I mean that they have a very loose idea in their head of what they want, and they kind of have to see it sculpted. So Lady J was probably one of the longest figures I worked on, because they kept redesigning her and like kept wanting changes for her and stuff, because I was like, I don't know. They just didn't know what they wanted, I think.
Well, so because I think when they were doing Lady J, this is towards the beginning of the line, and it still had sort of like they weren't going for a more retro look. They were doing more like reimagined, like a modern reimagination of the figures.
Yeah.
And I actually like that. I thought it was kind of cool seeing, like, they gave her the little, camera on her backpack.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of direction articulating that, so I did.
It's good. I mean, it's good enough. It goes up and down. It goes around. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that stuff, but I recognize that a lot of fans just want, grown-up versions of the toys they had as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people were really into the Snow Job one, because I think it's really similar or something too. I'm not very familiar with G.I. Joe, so I could be totally wrong, but someone was telling me it was a lot like a toy that they had when they were a kid. So
is it? Did you design that one too, or?
I didn't. No, not the full figure. I did the accessories for that. So
the
I did
accessories?
I did like some like, I'm not sure who. I should know the name of the person who sculpted the main figure, but I'm sorry, I don't remember.
I won't tell him.
but they're great. But yeah, I just did the accessories for that one.
That's cool. He's got cool accessories. He's got like snowshoes. And
they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, isn't that one of the rare G.I. Joes that we covered on this show?
Yes, it is.
Because it was like those 4 or 6 or whenever.
Yeah,
you were really into those.
Yeah, it's because
really cool.
Is it weird or harder working on a line that you don't have a connection to?
It depends. Like if the design is cool, I don't really mind. Like Power Rangers, I would never really grew up watching Power Rangers, but the villains are so cool that I loved working on every single one of those that I made.
Yeah, I saw you did the yellow beast morpher as well.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And there's some stuff in that line. Never mind, I can't say that. But they're all fun. The Prantis, the fish guy I made is one of my favorite sculpts of all time. Like, he's just so great.
Do you do any Dragon Ball Z?
Not personally. I haven't done anything for that. I did watch the show as a kid, so that would be something somewhat personal connection to. But I mean, it just depends. Like, usually it's fine. Sometimes it does get a little boring, but I can't really say that, like, that's for a long time why I didn't work on Marvel, right? Because I just hadn't seen any of the movies. And like a couple of years ago, someone finally made me watch it all. And now I was like, all right, I should get back into Marvel. So I have currently been working on some Marvel stuff. So that's been more fun than it used to be, because now I, know the IP a little bit better. But yeah, sometimes you get stuff that you're not a super big fan of, but it doesn't really happen that much to me anymore, honestly.
Is it ever like sort of a competition? Like, would Hasbro, like, if you're sort of afraid, like they contract the sculpt out to you, would they contract it out to 2 or 3 different sculptors and pick the best one? Or is it usually they'll just go to one person and then just make tweaks here or there?
I think generally it'll go to one person, and then sometimes if that initial sculptor isn't available, they'll have someone in-house make changes, or have another freelancer make changes after the fact. Like there are times when, like, 2 months later down the pipeline, like something will maybe not work in manufacturing or whatever, so they have to make a change. And sometimes the original person is just not available, or it would just be faster to have someone, in-house to do it if it's like a very small change or whatever. So stuff like that does happen. I don't know, like, I have seen in the concept phase of things, different proportions being sent out to different people, but that's not really like a competition between people. That's just to really quickly get a bunch of different designs sculpted so that they can see them all in 3D. But yeah, not really competitive, just more,
that makes sense.
What's time efficient.
Yeah. Well, I had a question, but it slipped my mind now. So I literally had something to say, but
it's good podcasting. I like it. You're doing a real good job. I'm really proud of you, Zach. Have you ever had any issues with like fans like that didn't like any? It's like something you did, or
surprisingly, no. Like I'm really lucky because I have a lot of friends who work in games. Yeah. And video game fans are fucking brutal. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're like, they're nuts. But toy people are really chill. From what I've seen, I'm very like people are.
I don't think you're talking to the right toy people, but okay.
Well,
not the
people that
interact
read
on my page.
That's good. No, that's yeah.
Well, next time you sculpt a figure, go to my page and then read the comments, and then
I see. Well, nobody who comes to my page.
People.
There you go.
Well, now I'm talking. Maybe your fans are toxic. Maybe I'm about to get a bunch of toxic fans. So please don't be toxic to me.
Maybe we don't want to put our name out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Use my username. Don't use my real name. No, I'm just kidding. But no, everybody's super great to me, like all the time. I'm really lucky. So hopefully this does not open the floodgates of people being shitty. But
yeah,
you're getting like weird, like gatekeeping, but people like, you're a girl, you can't do this stuff.
Definitely not.
Like
not in toys at all ever. Yeah, I think that is.
What about
also,
video games?
Not well. I haven't worked on a game, right?
Right.
So
okay, so you went to school for that, but you never worked on.
No, I didn't.
Video
so
games.
it's
Gotcha.
They share a lot of the same tools, so that's how I got into toys from there. But yeah, I have never worked on a game.
What's your favorite video game?
Oh man, of all time, Harvest Moon probably for the PS1. So way back in the
classic.
day,
we're going way back.
Yeah, but I play. This is a game that everybody hates, but I play a lot of Heroes of the Storm. Big fan of Heroes of the Storm, the MOBA, yeah. Nobody liked, but I liked it. I most recently Sonya, but I was Asmodan for a long time, and you know, I like Hades a lot. I have a Hades poster right there that I need to hang up, but Hades is great. Cult of the Lamb, like I said.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are. Oh, and Doki Doki Literature Club, which is
I've never heard of that, but okay.
You should play it.
I mean, I know Doki Doki Panic was originally the original Mario Brothers 2, and that's all I got from Doki Doki.
Yeah, great game.
No, for the last week, I've been hardcore Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, of course. Well, it just came out. Like you have to,
right?
It
just came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of weird shit can I make?
I've been really enjoying those videos of like the people like making like the big rockets to like blow up those little guys. Yeah, that's great too. Yeah.
Oh, people are absolutely abusing Kuroks in that game.
Yes, that's the best part. Yeah, those I'm really into those Twitter videos right now.
Like a 10 Korok like spit roast of like going around in circles.
I saw that one. That one was great. That was amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I have never actually played a Zelda game. So I don't know how I've missed that, but I literally have never played a Zelda game. And Breath of the Wild looks great. This looks great, but I probably won't play either of these. Just not fair. Yeah,
no, that's fair.
They look great though. Cool. Just not totally my thing.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, I played Heroes of the Storm when it came out. I played it for a lot, and then I dropped off. But I've been playing World of Warcraft since it launched back in 2004.
Oh, nice. I have a lot of friends who worked on it. So I live actually right next to Blizzard. So I live in Irvine. So I could walk to campus in 5 minutes. but yeah.
Hence the Blizzard photos I saw on your Instagram, as well as all the Disneyland photos, which I live in San Diego. So I'm also.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you're like right in the area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to spend more time in San Diego.
If that counts.
You're not in California. You're on the East Coast.
No, he's Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah,
I've been there.
Louisville.
I don't wear
Louisville.
By the way, yeah.
How do you say?
You don't have much of an accent though. That's surprising.
Wow, I get roasted for my accent in the comments here.
Oh, maybe now I'm hearing it a little bit. Did you just turn it up a little bit? You just
I get
like kind of leaned
roasted for
into
my
it.
accent.
Should I get my
You just leaned into
my
it.
southern twang going?
My favorite part of being in I don't think I was in kind of a more rural area, but was going into like a restaurant and talking and have people be scared of my accent. You know what I mean? Like they were like, "What is this like person who doesn't have a southern accent?"
What kind of city talk is this?
Basically, yeah. But they were like, I felt like I was freaking people out just by talking. But yeah, that was a long time ago. So maybe things are more modern over there now. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
they've really matured in the South.
Don't work. You know, I can't get a damn mic to work or anything. I did remember my question from a minute ago, though. Fortunately,
good. We killed enough time.
Yeah. Is it ever like what's the most annoying thing about if they ever send something back for you to edit? Like, is it ever like they just really hammer down specific things that really bothers you?
To edit, probably it's mostly when they like change the articulation like halfway through and you're like, oh, this was done. Like, and that happens for whatever reason, manufacturing and kind of like I'm saying, like designing through a sculptor is always annoying because you're like, it's fine. Like at the end of the day, it's not that bad, but those would probably be the like most irritating changes. Yeah. Normally it's not too bad. Like I would say most of the time it's pretty minimal, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, that does seem like it would change a lot of the figure if they're like, yeah, let's add butterflies now.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of articulation, like the new knees, like on Black Series, it's now like a single joint with like a little rotating hinge versus like the older ones, which are like, the traditional kind of
double
knee
pin,
stuff.
Yeah.
So like I would assume that it's easier to sculpt feet or legs that only have that one joint. Does that make it harder, easier? Like
weirdly, double jointed knees I find easier for some reason. I don't know why. Sometimes when you're trying to do a single jointed knee and arms too, sometimes I'll get tripped up on those specific joints. The worst joint is hip joints for some reason. For me, I'm just like, because you have to make sure, it can sit properly. And sometimes it's like, there's going to be a part of that if you're like cutting up a figure that like the butt might not look quite right. It's that those are probably hips are the hardest. I just spent like 7 hours on a hip joint the other day. There was like 2 joints I was working on, but it was like, I was like, at the end of the day, I was like fucking done. I was like so annoyed, but normally that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It was just the proportions of the person were a little strange. So that was, sometimes those are rough, but mostly that doesn't happen. Usually that doesn't happen. That was a special, very annoying case.
So when I review toys, one of the things I always talk about is like, this person like had to sculpt this character's butt. And like, is it something they had to like look at and go like, okay, their butt looks like this, and then like get the butt right, or they just kind of go like, that looks like a butt, I'm not looking at it. Like I know you didn't originally sculpt like Han Solo's butt, but like I just imagine like how long someone looked at this, like this angle, going like that's an old man butt. That's hard. What I know.
Honestly, they are. Yeah. That's part of the hip situation though. Like that's part of the reason they're hard, because like, you can have a butt that's too defined. This
is my favorite conversation I've ever had on this podcast.
No, this is stuff you actually have to think about. Like this is weirdly the struggle with what I was talking to you about before. That was why it was one of the reasons it was hard, because the character, getting the butt to look right while she was sitting and while she was doing it was annoying. It was super annoying. Butts are very hard. So that's actually an interesting observation.
Think about that stuff. Like, like do you obviously with like Lady J, you're like, I want the butt to look good, but like I don't want it to look too good. Like I don't want to look sexualized. But like,
well, listen,
I don't want to give her a pancake butt.
One of the notes that I had on Lady J was they kept telling me to make her boobs smaller. So don't tell anybody that. 10 people that are here, but no, just kidding. You don't have to.
No, that's staying in the podcast.
That's fine. That was one of the big changes. Was like I felt like, this is personal opinion. I think the figure looks great, but it would have. I did like her cleavage before a little bit more. Personal. It looks great still, but that was just my. That's the only thing that I think they should have left alone at the figure. Sure, that's my
good to know. Yeah. And that was not Lady J. That was someone else.
No, that was Lady J.
Oh, that was Lady J.
I'm talking about,
yeah. I would say it could be bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. They made me. They kept reducing them, so it was a progressive reduction. So I feel like that's a note that I get sometimes. I feel like I'm always trying to give character.
You're trying to make them look a little more feminine. Like, well, it's always like a weird. It's a weird, line you got to walk between.
It is. Yeah.
Because there's going to be weirdos out there that are like ogling a toy, but then there's people that'll be like, well, how come she doesn't look like that? Or how come, and then if I see if I saw Lady J and she had like a big rack or whatever, I would assume some horny guy sculpted this Lady J, you know?
No, it's just me, a tiny lady who's just like.
So whenever you were sculpting that retro Bo-Katan, did you give her like huge boobs and they were like, nope.
Just for fun?
No, not those ones. But listen, I'm trying, in those cases, I'm trying to make it look as much like the actor as possible. I'm saying more toys that don't have like a person attached.
Yeah. Lady, there's no real person, Lady J. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, the concept had bigger boobs too. So it wasn't just me. So I was just doing my job, right? You know, but personally, I just thought that's really their fault. Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. So personal preference, I just thought it looked better the first way. That's it.
Yeah, I think I had one video I was doing, it was a Poe Dameron from The Last Jedi. And I mean, that was back when I didn't care and I didn't have any subscribers. So I made a running gag about Poe Dameron's butt. Like he had a badonk, you know, I just was
really?
And I got one comment like a week ago, and this is a video from like 2017. So it's pretty old at this point. And I got a comment like a week ago being like, stop saying butt. And I was like, I can't.
I think it's a fun word, so I think
it's
that person
a fun
needs to,
word. Exactly.
You know, have a little more fun in their life.
Yeah, have some fun with your life. And I just think it's funny. Again, someone had to sculpt this guy's butt, and they were like, Oscar Isaac's gonna have a dump. He's gonna have a dump truck.
Yeah, know? I feel like he would have a nice butt. I haven't really 100%. Checked it out, but I feel like that's probably
dude.
A thing. Right,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it just makes sense.
He's a beautiful man.
So whenever you are given a character to sculpt, how long on average do you think it takes you to sculpt it and to turn it in? Maybe like first draft or second draft?
Depends on the level of articulation. Like I think Mon Mothma was pretty quick because I feel like she took me she was faster than most figures just because she's like pretty simple. Like you didn't have to, there's not like long hair or anything. Hair takes a really long time to sculpt sometimes. I would say she was like pretty fast turnaround for the first pass, like 2 weeks. Normally it takes about, I would say 3 weeks total to get like a full pass in. But some of that time is like spent, you're trying to, cause you're a freelancer, you're trying to manage your time. So you might be like spinning down on other projects. And so I would say normally it takes me probably like in an ideal world, 3 weeks. Normally it's probably 2 for a first pass for most of my figures. And then, you know, revisions, it depends on how long it takes to get back, but usually like revisions are like a day or 2. For Lady J, it was more because they were designing through me. But for most figures, it's revisions don't take a really long time. Yeah.
Were Mon Mothma's, were her elbows really hard just looking at them?
It was hard to break up because she has like such thick sleeves. I'm not 100% happy with the way that turned out. I think she looks a little bit too thick, but there was like, it was having to balance. That was hard because it's having to balance all of the layers of clothing, and they have to be a certain thickness so they actually print. But she was just like so layered, has to be all very specific thickness, and then kind of matching the arms to that. That was actually pretty hard. So that's actually a good observation too.
Are there some times when you go to the store or you look at the final product online and you're like, well, that was better when I had it, when I sent it in?
It's not like it like stuff just looks better digitally because when you're digital, like you can see all the details, and then manufacturing, obviously stuff is just like, it's harder to get those details to translate when something is so small. So it always looks better in ZBrush, right? Like every single figure looks better, and that's nobody's fault. Like they do a great job with manufacturing. It's just the, you know, reality of the situation. But there's sometimes I'm like, that paint job could have been better, you know, or whatever. Like, but that's not that's not my business. Who knows?
Yeah,
what's going on with that? Yeah, but normally I'm happy with it. It's very rare.
Do you ever want to work with Sideshow on like the really detailed
like Hot Toys,
really detailed stuff? Hot Toys, Sideshow.
I'd do it. You know, if they came calling, I'd do it. But you know, I'm pretty happy with the work I do now.
So do you prefer, I have a real quick question about Mon Mothma here. Do you prefer like the sculpted rubber for the dress, or would you have preferred like a soft goods kind of thing?
Man, personally, I feel like soft goods looks good sometimes, but I feel like usually sculpted looks better. So I don't know what the general toy opinion on that. I don't know if that's controversial, but like sometimes I just
you
feel
as a sculptor, like
oh, like for me,
this is your work. If you were going to make Mon Mothma, no notes from Hasbro or Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I honestly, I would probably just done it sculpted too. I mean, I'm a sculptor. I'm going to be biased. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
But yeah, like with the Tuscan Raider, like his soft goods look great. But like sometimes I'm like looking at soft goods and I'm like, like, the old retro figures had those like really like stiff capes. Kind of always think about that. Yeah, right. Yeah. The vinyl. And I think I don't know if did they do any of those on the new retro figures? I'm sure they did. Yeah.
They did. Yeah.
But so that kind of, sometimes I just think about that with, I don't know. I feel like it looks better sculpted sometimes, but sorry if that's controversial.
No, I mean, I get it because you have a lot of detail. Like on the skirt part here, you have the different kind of texture on this like over part of her long skirt. I don't even know. She's got 1,000 layers, so it's really hard to say which layer I'm talking about. But so you wouldn't get that on soft goods. Like they wouldn't do that. It'd be detail you're missing.
Right. Like it's harder, I think, for them to get like frayed edges and like stuff like that. Like, and sometimes I just do feel like the cloth ends up looking like really blocky and, I don't know.
Do they ever send you prototypes of stuff you work on?
No, we got to see them in-house, but they'll send me pictures sometimes of the prototypes, but I don't ever get like actual figures.
One to keep or anything.
Yeah. No, I have to order my own figures, but they're a tax write-off because they're referenced technically. So.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I do the same thing with my YouTube channel. It's all a tax write-off.
Right. Yeah. So, but
I gotta review it. Gotta buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
So they fly you out to Nantucket or whatever, Massachusetts.
So I lived in Rhode Island originally. Okay. So, well, not live there, but for my contract, I did move to Rhode Island, and then I moved out after that. But I did live in Rhode Island for the period that I was under contract. Yeah. And then out here, I've been to the Burbank office to meet with some of my managers out here because they also have an office here.
That's next to the airport there because that's every year there's a Transformers convention right next door to Hasbro. Okay. So it's always weird because I know Hasbro's not 100% approval of it because they do a lot of third party.
Oh, really?
Like Transformers and stuff. So I always thought it was kind of weird.
That's funny.
Right.
They have a big Transformer thing on the wall in the Burbank office. So that's funny.
Yeah.
Neat.
Cool.
Well, I think that's our hour.
Yeah.
Sarah. Cool. We loved having you on. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being part of my favorite conversation, literally in 45 episodes.
I
think
thank you.
Talking with a sculptor about how they sculpt the butt of a toy. I think I'm not even being facetious about this. That is the highlight. I could not record any more of these, and that's it.
No, it's one of my favorite questions I've been asked. I mean, I can talk about sculpting butts all day. It's hard, so I appreciate someone noticing the effort that goes into all the butt sculpting I do. Yeah.
Well, like I said before you came on, like no one ever goes, sets out to make a bad toy. Like no one ever is like, I don't really care about this. Like on some level, even if you don't care about the toy, obviously you're an artist and you want it to be as good as you can make it, unless it's Space Jam, obviously.
I tried my best with Space Jam. There's no saving Space Jam.
You can't polish a turd. Yeah.
No.
The Space Jam hate is wild right now.
I love it.
Sorry for any Space Jam fans out there. That's who's going to be toxic to me now. It's like just people who are really
you're going to get just inundated with Space Jam fans. They call them jammers.
the jammers.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So this is your opportunity to tell the audience where they can follow you, what you're working on, how the episode 3 Anakin you're sculpting for Hasbro right now is going. The super battle droid you're sculpting. Hopefully,
to be clear, there's no Anakin on my end. I don't know anything about an Anakin. There's been this implied Anakin, but to be clear, no Anakin. Don't put this on me. I don't know what's going on with the Anakin.
I need an Anakin. I need a new Anakin.
I loved seeing I could see Zach's soul leave his body when you said that. Drop. And that
because if she's not sculpting one, that's like one less chance we have of getting it. So now there's like.
I love it.
I can't say anything about it either way, right? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Can't say anything.
She's not working on it though.
Don't know. Anyway,
she doesn't even know.
I don't know, but yeah. So my Instagram is Sarah with an H _LYNN _Reynolds REYNOLDS. I'm sure you'll put it in the notes of the show or whatever. You know, so
and I'll tag you and I post our show is available and
sounds
all that.
Good. That's probably the best place to find me. I'm on Facebook too. I'm on Twitter, but I don't post a ton on either of those. So Instagram is probably, where it's at for me.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you joining.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome back anytime. If you want to tell
anytime you want to come back when you get a new toy, like when Tala comes out, we'll have you on. You can tell me all about her butt.
We'll do a full review of her butt. Yeah,
we'll
just full hour.
I mean, obviously the Tuscan chieftain as well. Like it's not just Tala or Mon Mothma's or Lady J's butt. I want to talk about every butt.
That's totally
all the
cool
butts.
With me. Yeah, it's fair.
I'll get the displacer beast. I definitely want to talk about, is that cat showing you its butthole? Because that's how you know.
There's a level of detail that we don't hit. Usually that's something we avoid sculpting for figures, those areas specifically. But
are you telling me there's no ZBrush file where you just put a nice little
there is not. Sorry this is like when people always ask me, it's like, do you just ever sculpt weird stuff in there? Like, do you ever just put a penis on anything? And I'm like, no, I don't, because I like my job.
They're all Ken dolls. Yeah. That's fair.
What a good note to leave on.
Yeah. That's how we end. We always go with a bang.
Sorry,
here. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us again. That's not Sarah. The end of our episode for the people listening. We're going to continue on with our normal episode. But Sarah was kind enough to come on for a bit and talk to us about butts, and that is my favorite. I'm going to have to put butts in the title of this.
It'll be titled.
Yeah,
something like that.
All right. Well, thanks, Sarah.
Thank you so much. It was fabulous talking with you.
Been fun. See you guys later.
Well, now that she's gone, God. Wow, I did not expect to talk about butts.
What a turn.
I'm so sorry.
You had to bring up the old man butt that Hans got.
He has an old man butt. He's got that pancake butt.
It's a legitimate question that needed to be asked.
And someone, I know she didn't sculpt it because she just sculpted his head, but like someone sculpted it, and
Yeah. Somebody had to ask Hasbro, can you send me a closer picture of like his back?
Of Han Solo's his badonk. Yeah, exactly. Like did
somebody sneak up to Harrison Ford and like snap a pic and send it to me while he's getting a coffee before
I have so many questions on how they figure out what a character's butt should look like, I'm glad I got some answers. Yeah,
one question I wish I would have remembered to ask her. I was going to ask her if she did any of the Indiana Jones stuff, but she never posted.
She probably can't talk about it. She probably can't talk about it even if she did, because obviously it hasn't been announced if she did. So I'm just gonna answer that for you and say she can't talk about it.
Fair. Yeah. But yeah, the episode is not over. We really appreciate Sarah joining us for the first hour. And we started 15 minutes late because I was having a mic issue.
It was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, you got like 20 whole minutes of chatting with a sculptor pre-show,
Yeah.
So we did skip the patron intro just because we were having her on at the front of the show. So that will return next episode. If you want to join our Patreon, you can join and be here live for whenever we are talking to a Hasbro sculptor one day or other guests. You can join it at Black Series Cantina, and we also have merch and all that. So we are doing a giveaway. We have 48 current Patreon members. When we get to 50, I am going to be giving away the Umbra Operative Arc Trooper, the black and yellow GameStop exclusive. That's my giveaway for Patreon members. If you're in the $2 tier, you'll get 1 entry. $5 tier, 2 entries, and the $11.38 tier, 3 entries. And I guess the VIP, we got to give Wilkerson fourth entry, right?
If he's VIP, he gets 4 entries, and that's how it works.
Yeah,
I will be giving away this
Qui-Gon.
episode 1 Qui-Gon,
the carded version.
The carded version with the better head.
Face. Yeah.
Yep. So for some reason, this guy's actually going for a chunk of money on the aftermarket, and I happen to have accidentally bought a second one. What happened? It was a fun story. I ordered one off of Best Buy's website when they went for pre-order. One got shipped to my old. They got shipped to my old address, and the person that lived there basically just stole it, said they never got it. And I called Best Buy, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like we'll just ship you a new one." And then I happened to go into the store and see it there. And they were like, "Oh," I went up to the said, "Oh, hey, I was supposed to get this. Is there any way I could just get it?" And they're like, they looked at my order and stuff like that, and they're like, "No, we can't do it." But then he gave me like a discount on buying one in store, and then I also got the one they shipped me separately, so I've got 2. So, fun story, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it wasn't actually as interesting as I thought it was going to be when I was telling it, but I just wanted to finish it, I guess. So. And that's what I'm giving away.
Brian, I would say it is fair because John is our only VIP. So he pays over double what the third tier is. So if you think about it, we probably owe him a figure regardless, since our VIP is the price of one figure per month. And in these days,
we gave him his own segment on the last show.
I know.
I think
I'm
that's
just saying, yeah. But it is very costly, and we appreciate it. So, and our rule was, because we never had a VIP, and our rule was, you can get an extra entry for every tier up you go. Should we cap it at 3? We should get a 4th one,
VIP
right?
gets 4th. VIP gets 4.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. Well, so look forward to that. And again, we talk about Patreon because we don't do ads, and that's our only ad in this show. So you can support us on Patreon if you want to, or you don't have to. But if you do, you get stuff like being able to watch us right now. That's a thing.
Or join us live, watch a video, and get entries
for giveaway. That's it. You also get a discount on our merch. That's just also a fun thing.
Yeah.
But we have stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. No Black Series specific news, but let's jump into our usual fine additions. Mike,
what do we got? I got
this episode.
I don't have anything Star Wars related. It's been sort of a drought of Star Wars releases, but I did do I got this guy. This is part of that line, the Warriors of the Animal Kingdom, whatever, Animal Kingdom Warriors.
It's like a blue ape king or something.
Yeah, apparently he's like the main bag. His name is like Kali or something like that. I've been curious about this line. It was a Kickstarter that got funded, and I was talking with Dan about it, and they were having a sale on them. So I got him, and then it was cheaper if you got him and then also like one of the weapons packs. And I like the weapons, so I was thinking, I want the weapons for like other stuff. Like, so the weapons pack, it's a separate thing, but it was bundled together. It came with like a little mace. I got like a little, like a spear thing, and there's a sword, and it came with a couple guns. Like, it's kind of weird though, because there's like this like laser rifle. You got swords and then a laser rifle, but then he also comes with like blunderbusses. So it's
that's cool.
Yeah, but it's weird, like a blunderbuss, but then also a laser rifle. It's like,
it's a little weird.
It's a little weird, There's like 1,000 years in between these gun properties or whatever.
How dense are those? Because whenever you set them down, it sounds like they're made of like die cast or something.
No, they're
pretty loud.
They're just a plastic. It's like
that one
plastic.
Sounded like plastic, but you set down one, and I heard it sounded like a metal cling.
It's because it said on my I have a little a coaster, and
okay, that makes sense. Because I heard a metal cling, I was like, these are high quality weapons. That's pretty impressive. But then
I mean, they're not high quality weapons. Yeah. But I was just really curious about, because I like Mythic Legions, and I wanted to kind of compare these. They feel to me more like Marvel Legends than Mythic Legions. It's not bad, but I don't think I'm going to be getting any more on top of this.
Mm-hmm.
So
was that like just a solo pack?
Yeah.
Just
so it was,
figure?
I think this guy goes for, I want to say like $30 or $25 or something. And he didn't come with that axe. That axe was part of the accessory pack, but he comes with 2 swords. He comes with one of the blaster, little blunderbuss guns things. And then he came with like 2 other sets of hands. So it came with a lot of stuff for that $20. So on top of just being, the sculpt is nice. He's got like kind of gold and blue armor.
Yeah, it does look really cool.
Yeah. So I dug it, and I like gorilla people and whatnot, but in hand, like, it's fine. It didn't wow me. So I won't be getting more, but I did like getting these extra weapons in the pack for other figures. So I especially really like the spear. I think the spear looks cool.
I like the blunderbuss.
The blunderbuss is like a pirate.
Little hand shotgun. Yeah.
Anyways, so that's all I've got. And I have not gotten, not even any other toys. It's been kind of I had to look back at my Instagram, but I haven't posted anything on Instagram in like a week. But I've looked through everything. I can't think of anything else I bought. So it's been kind of a slow week. Other than I got Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and my wife let me get another Switch so that I could play Zelda while she's playing Switch.
Oh,
so we're a 2 Switch household now.
Nice.
But I wanted an OLED Switch so that I could have a better screen when I am playing.
But the newer one.
That's the newer one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a bigger screen. It's got a better battery, and the screen is OLED instead of the LCD. So it definitely looks a lot better. Yeah.
I haven't played my Switch in so long. I think the last game I really went hardcore on the Switch was, I might get roasted for this, but I honestly can't even think of the name of it anymore. Me and Lance or Luke were talking about it. You've played it. What's that game?
Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing. The most.
Yeah.
I think it might have been
my
the
wife
most recent
loves
one.
That game.
During COVID, I played the hell out of that. That was really fun.
Hey, if you can't go outside, why not go outside in a game?
Yeah. So that was the last game on the Switch I went deep in.
That's fair.
And I play it.
No, that's fair.
And me and my wife play it. Like, I downloaded the Jeopardy game, and it was like a little golf game we play every now and then. But other than that, I haven't really played the Switch too much in a long time. I really haven't been a big video game guy lately. I guess the last couple of years, but Survivor, and we're going to talk about that a little later.
Yeah, we'll talk about Survivor more at the end.
Yeah.
There will be spoilerinos for the people who haven't played it yet. We'll do that at the end, so we'll let you know.
Yeah.
So if you haven't finished it, you don't want the spoilers, then you can bail out then.
So this week I do have a fine edition because last week I did not, and it felt weird.
Sure.
But this week I don't have a Star Wars pickup because we're still in that weird area
we're
where
in a lull. We got nothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for that, and like all the stuff that's come out recently that I want, I pretty much have. I'm kind of waiting for some of that Andor stuff to hit a little sale. I'll be picking some stuff up soon though. If I see anything at ICC Con that I want, and even if it's not on sale, if it's close to retail, I'll probably pick it up just because I'm there and it's in hand for the experience, But I did pick up this, since I've been going deep into SH Figuarts DBC, for $35. I got this Super Saiyan.
Did I Target?
Oh yeah. So I kind of felt bad because
I saw that. I almost bought it.
Really? It's so good.
I did.
It comes with all these accessories. You get 4 total face swaps, all those hands. It's so awesome. And actually, I was getting rid of the Dragon Stars figures, but I kept some of these. I was selling them loose, but I kept some of these power-up backgrounds, so I can do that.
Sure. Absolutely. Why not?
I kind of feel bad because before I decided to get into the Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts line, I saw this figure for retail at my small local comic shop that I love supporting. But literally, like a week ago, I walked in Target and there were 4 of them on the shelf. And I was like, I got to pick it up. I got to pick it up. I'm in the line now. So I kind of felt bad. I didn't give the local place my money. I gave the big box store.
No, you gave it to the big Solus box store. It doesn't care about you.
But that was like 2 months ago also, before I was really, in it, had officially dived in. So yeah, but I'm loving this line. Like, I'm really like spending way too much money on it that I should, but I'm not buying Black Series right now because there's nothing we need stuff I got a lot of stuff on pre-order for Black Series, but there's just nothing like,
everything's on pre-order,
really.
Nothing's shipping. I still have, because I talked about this last week. I have I'm trying to do a $300 a month toy budget, but so far the only things I've purchased in May have been things that won't come out for a while, and they've all been Mythic Legion stuff. So
that's like a year and a half too, right?
Well, so one of them isn't. One of 3 of them are. 3 of them are their Cosmic Legions that won't be out for a year and a half. But one of them is they just did they do the subline called the Figure Obscura. That's what like the Headless Horseman and stuff is. They did a Sun Wukong, which is where Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z, that was based on the same mythology. So Son Goku is Sun Wukong. They're like supposed to be the same person. Anyways, but he's more of a monkey kind of guy. Yeah. And I dig that, and I dug it. Kind of the same reason why I got this animal not Mythic Legions, but the Animal Kingdom Warrior guy. Because I'm like, I dig a monkey. I dig a good anthropomorphic monkey.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I got that. It was $60. So that might come out sooner. I think that comes out. I'll get that in June. But still, I spent money in May, and I have nothing to show for it. I've spent $200 on toys in May, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that hurts. Yeah, it hurts a little bit.
They did. One of the cool things that happened.
It'll all ship eventually, though.
Oh yeah, I'll get it. And you know what? When it comes out. Whenever it comes out, that's an extra toy I get that month that I have to take out of my budget. And that will feel better then. It just sucks now. But
you gotta wait.
This last weekend I went to a toy show, like a local one. They're in a mall that's trying to like revitalize itself in the old Sears building because Sears is closed in it. They're basically, it's called Ninja Exchange. And they have just a bunch of local toy vendors and sellers and stuff that have bought little shops. So it's kind of like convention floor where you go in and there's a bunch of little shops that have toys, and it's like Pops and Funkos and Hot Wheels and Black Series and Marvel Legends. And it's kind of like Frankenstein's, but on a much smaller level. But instead of having to drive like an hour north to go to Frankenstein, it's right next door. It's like down the street from me. Yeah. So yeah, that was nice. Yeah. It was their first weekend being open, so they were pretty small still, but it still felt pretty cool. Like I'll probably go next month sometime just to kind of check it out once more stores have opened. And I thought about maybe getting a booth and selling like toys that I've got lying around. It just depends on how much a booth costs. Yeah,
why? Stuff in the garage, right? Yeah,
I've got tons of toys in my garage that I'm never going to display again, probably. So yeah. Like they're useless. So I might as well sell them.
On more toys, yeah.
But the problem is like it's so much trouble digging them out and like putting them on eBay or whatever. But if I just have them in a booth, like someone's right there, I don't have to worry about shipping it out anywhere. It's just, someone can just buy it.
Yeah, you can put like $30 on it. They offer you 20. Just like
exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, fine, whatever. It's just right here. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. A couple things to hit before we jump into our discussion topics. Andor and the B2 Emo figure at Big Bad Toy Store popped up for $19.99 for like a day, and then jumped up to $24.99. I think it's up for pre-order now.
It was always pre-order. Yeah,
it was always. I thought it was in stock for some reason.
No, it was always pre-order.
$24.99 for that pack, and I paid like $60 or something.
This one hurts. I've never really felt like pain whenever something goes on sale that I've already bought for full price. Like it sucks, but like I've never really cared. This is actually the first thing I can remember where I'm like, oh man, that sucks. I could have gotten this way cheaper.
I also feel like it sucks because it's something that I knew was going to hit set clearance eventually, but I still pulled the trigger on it for 55. Was that retail 55?
It was 59. Oh, no, it was 50. I think it was 55. Yeah, I think it was 55.
Yes, 55, something like that. So, but at the end of the day, that's really just $20 for B2, and I thought it was worth it still. But $24.99 is a steal.
Yeah,
so.
It's a steal. Well, that's the thing is we've had it since November, so it's May now. That's 7 months that we've had it. I'm okay with it, but it still does suck. Like,
and I posted a video of the B2 that did really good on the internet, so that got a lot of traction and followers. So it was worth it.
Exactly. Plus, I had B2 while we were watching like the show, and that was kind of fun. I went from not really caring about the droid having a toy of it to like, oh man, this is my favorite. So
yeah.
I got my $20 out of it, I guess.
Yeah. Also, what popped up in stock randomly out of nowhere is the carded Return of the Jedi Emperor Palpatine, which shipped yesterday because I had to buy it because I'm going to ICC-Con and I'm going to have Ian McDermott sign it. So
did you pay for the expedited shipping?
Yes, I did. I paid for, it was like FedEx shipping, $8. Said it'd be delivered in 3 or 4 days. It shipped yesterday. So with FedEx, I already know that it's going to be delivered before we leave next week. So I am going to have Ian sign that. And I know I did get a signature last year, but that was on the blue box version.
Yep.
Having his signature on the carded will be awesome. I can't wait. That's going to be super. So if anybody else is going to ICC-Con, go order it right now from BBTS. It was $36 total, but I know that's steep for it. But at the end of the day, if I'm spending $100 or $120 to get Ian to sign it, what's that extra $11 at the end, to have the carded version signed?
And that becomes a display piece. Like that's not just you buying a toy.
Yeah.
You have a story behind it. It's got something that other people don't have, even though it's the same toy. So
he's gonna see me and say, Didn't I sign something for you last year? You're a simp. You're obsessed with me.
You're an McDermott simp.
He's gonna think I'm stalking him back to back years.
Just call him daddy and make it real weird.
I'll get escorted out quick.
Yeah. Security, I need this man away from me.
But yeah, ICC-Con should be a blast. So by the next time we have an episode, that'll be over because it's ICC-Con's next week. So looking forward to seeing everyone who's going there. Let me know if you're going. Send me a DM. Let's meet up. I know I'm meeting up with Wilkerson for sure.
Yeah.
So
and the Out of the Basement boys are going, right?
Yeah, we're riding down together. They're spending the night at my house. Yeah, I'm gonna lock him in the basement and turn him into carbonite. Yeah, and they're gonna go missing. They're gonna be my new display piece, like in carbonite. Nate and
Justin's behind just the. Yeah. I feel like Nate would do the classic Han Solo hands up pose. I feel like Justin though would have like one of these tee kind of like his finger over his mouth, like make a little cheeky like smile kind of thing. I just feel like that's the kind of carbonite pose that he would strike.
I can see that. that.
Yeah.
We should talk about that ZBrush video. We didn't.
Oh, for sure.
That happened like right after our last episode.
The day that I posted the episode online, I found it. Someone posted it to Reddit. And it's like a 5-hour video. So I'm just like, okay, this looks interesting. And I'm going through because it streamed on the 4th, the same day we were recording our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of the same thing we had with Sarah. Is it was the designers of the toys. It wasn't like a Hasbro event. It was a ZBrush event because that's the program they used that was Star Wars related. And in this 5-hour live stream, like an hour of it was 2 people from Hasbro talking about designing toys. And it just happened to be the toys they talked about were all the new toys they had just announced. So as someone who doesn't super care, I mean, I care about the design and stuff, but like I'm hungry for any information, obviously.
Yeah, information about that Chrysanthemum and
exactly
R2 and all that.
Yeah. So the first thing I was like, they're going to talk about the new R2. Cool. And Tom, the designer, posted it right next to the original R2, and I was like, "Oh man, that's exactly what I was hoping to see." So it was kind of great.
Size is amazing. Like the R2 is like confirmed.
Yep.
Like looks to be perfectly in scale. It's much larger than the old version.
Yep.
Which is going to be awesome. That was a big concern among collectors.
The only valid concern I still see people talk about is the color difference, and I can see that. Honestly, I get it. Some people like the navy blue versus the brighter blue. And I get that. I think that's a valid concern.
I understand it. I can go.
I don't care
either way. Because I feel like when I picture R2, it's just blue.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm colorblind, so fuck do I care?
There you go. Yeah. R2's red to you for all you know. But yeah, so that's they got into since it's I guess kind of 2 weeks old now, we don't have to go too deep into it, but they show
but I'm the one that discovered it, okay?
Oh,
and
yeah,
everyone else is talking about it, and I'm the one. No, just
they went into Chrysanthemum R2.
They did. The new
the Clone Wars stuff a little bit.
They talked about the new Din Djarin, which was super interesting. Since that's an all new body, they talked about the new sculpted joints for it, which is interesting. Underneath the head, because it's a new head, new helmet, new bucket. Because obviously the original one they made off all concept art. Mm-hmm. It was not made because it came out before the show came out. So what they had, kind of what we talked about with Sarah, that came out in 2019. They were probably working on that back in like 2017. Honestly, like that's how far back a lot of the stuff goes. So yeah, the head and stuff wasn't accurate because that's just what they had on hand. So it was nice to get an all new sculpt, and underneath that helmet is a full Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal head, but I don't think it's painted. I just think they have a sculpted head underneath it, just like the Boba Fett.
The clones we've gotten.
Yeah, and the clones and stuff.
The sculpted head, but because if it were painted and removable, they would have showed that off. So they're going to save that for like a build-up pack or something.
Yeah, for sure. And then that was my first thought is, okay, in the future we're going to get. They're going to do a pack with Grogu, and it's going to recreate the scene where he takes off his helmet or whatever,
and we're going to be suckers and buy it, and it's going to go on sale for $31.
I know, 100%.
But it's got the painted head under, so we need it,
and we want it for that. Yeah,
because we're some shills. We
not even a question.
So that'll be awesome. But yeah, everybody should go check that out.
Yeah,
to get some really cool details on the figures.
Yeah, just type in ZBrush. It's their channel, and like I said, it starts about an hour and a half into the 5-hour stream. Is when the Hasbro stuff starts.
And if people don't want to go watch the video, you can actually. Didn't you post pictures on your Instagram?
I did. I posted pictures on my Instagram. Yep.
You can go to. I know a couple people did that, but you were like the one that really let everybody know.
They're just taking my pictures. Everyone was just taking my pictures. That's all.
I'm
fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's fine.
I posted them to my Instagram story.
You did. Thank you.
And I tagged you in both of them.
You did. No, thank you. I think my biggest letdown was they didn't talk about the Magna Guard, because there's two things. Like I want to know about that. Is it an alternate head, or is it a piece that comes off with that wrap? And I also want to know about the fingers. And they didn't talk about either of those things. So.
Wouldn't it have been awesome if Sarah sculpted the Magna Guard?
I know. Right. I know. I don't think she did. I think that would be on her Instagram if she did. Because
I don't think she's done a whole lot of Star Wars lately, other than like that
Tala, the Tala and the
Mon Mothma.
And the Mon Mothma. Yeah. I mean, those are three pretty recent figures. Yeah.
I think she was on another podcast, and I wish I could remember it off the top of my head. It's like
the General Kenobi one.
General Kenobi Bunker. Sorry if you're listening, I'm just mistaking the name, but I think on that podcast she mentioned she's not currently working on anything for Star Wars, and she's been doing less, and she wants to get back into doing more. But everybody can go listen to that. Wilbon, thanks for joining. Looking forward to seeing you at ICCCon in a week if you're still going. I hope so. So I say we move on and talk about Visions.
Yeah.
So full spoilers for Star Wars Visions going forward. So if you haven't seen, I mean, there's really nothing to spoil.
Not really.
If you haven't seen it, it's not like there's like a plot throughout it. It's just a bunch of individual things, you know. So overall,
well, it's basically it's very similar to season 1 in terms of how it's laid out, where every story is self-contained. Yeah. It's more about the studio putting their own personal art style into a Star Wars story, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like overall, this season, I feel like every episode could be canon. Whereas the first season, I feel like most of the episodes didn't feel like they could be canon. Like there's too many weird things happening or differences, or it wasn't really Star Wars. Like with the, the one with the twins, like what empire terrible. Is that? Like they're like walking around in space without helmets on, things like that. Like there wasn't, I think there wasn't anything weird. And this, even the first episode of the show with that crazy art style, I still feel like, crazy art style aside, the story could still take place in the Star Wars universe.
Like Star Wars, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so overall thoughts on season 2 of Visions?
I loved it. I'm if I ever go back and rewatch Visions, I will pretty much 100% of the time choose to rewatch season 2 over season 1.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I have an official ranking of them. Before we get on, I just want to talk about Darth Malgus real quick, because I was going through my Twitter timeline. I was going through the reason this is out of order, I was going through my Twitter timeline and those pictures popped up from that thing. Darth Malgus is a big boy.
Oh yeah, people need to go look at
like it's one of those things, really, like, when you just see pictures of him and you're like, deluxe, why is he deluxe? $35 for that? No, he's a big boy. Like, I
people
get
need
it,
to go watch that ZBrush video specifically for Malgus, because he is
they even
humongous.
They put the render of him next to the render of the clone trooper, and the clone trooper comes up to below his shoulder. Like, he's tall. Yeah. Anyways,
he's a beast.
Yeah, so my official ranking for Visions, I liked episode 5 the most. That was the one with the seer stones. No. Well, it was the seer stones.
That's a Darkhead. Are you talking about Darkhead? The journey to Darkhead, where they're trying to cut off the head of the statue.
Yes.
That's called the journey to Darkhead. That was my favorite one, personally.
That was also my favorite one. I love the animation, because it was more anime than any of the other ones, even though it's a South Korean. So it's not Japan, but close enough, I guess, for style. But I just love the story so much about the Jedi who was kind of given up, but like the Sith in there was brutal. I just loved all of it. The whole story was fantastic. I love that one. My second favorite one was the 4th episode, because I love Wallace and Gromit.
That's like the claymation racing one.
That's the Aardman one. That's the racing one. Yeah. They got like Wedge Antilles is in it, and they got Dennis Lawson to voice Wedge Antilles. I think that's cool. It had the dog R2D2 accordion thing.
That was really cute. Yeah.
There's just so many things to like about it.
Whenever they're racing and the Death Star comes out of the ship and it's like shooting.
Yeah.
That was. Yeah. There were so many little Star Wars details on it. Like her comm was the same one from A New Hope in the trash compactor.
Yes, it was. And one of the ships was basically the Mantis from Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order.
It had
the little fin thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that episode more than I actually fell asleep halfway through that episode. And because I guess just really tired. I watched these at a terrible time, but I fell asleep halfway through that episode. And then that was the last one I finished, and I really enjoyed the second half of that episode.
Yeah, no, it's a good episode, but I feel like some of these you definitely have to be in the right headspace for or mood to watch, because they're not all super entertaining, but they're still good. My third favorite was episode 6, and I thought this was going to be my least favorite one. That was the one with the rebel spy cabaret thing.
Oh, the spy dancer.
Yeah, I like reading the description for it. I'm like, I don't really care about this, but watching it, I love really the animation, but I loved the story. Like the story was really interesting, and how the Imperial guy ended up being her son that was stolen, and things like that. And I love the little nods, like the troopers were riding around on those old Kenner mini rig, the rolly things. Like I loved so much stuff about that. But the artwork was also just really gorgeous in that one. I like that one a lot. After that, I liked episode 3. That was the one where the girl breaks into the Imperial like water factory or whatever.
Oh yeah, with the kid.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. I think the ATST thing in there was cool. Like it really felt menacing, and it was just an ATST. I also liked the sort of claymation or stop motion animation of it. I thought that was really nice as well. After that, I liked the first episode, the Sith one with the crazy artwork.
That was insane to watch.
I really liked her. I liked her like bike scooter thing. I'm like, I want a toy of this. Like I want her on her like wheel bike scooter, whatever it is.
I'm trying to look at the episode list so I can keep up here. Was that your how many?
What was that? It was 1, 2, 3, 4. That was number 4. No, it was number 5. That was my 5th.
So now we're starting to get to the bottom of your list.
Yeah. So number 6 for me was episode 9. Again, that was kind of the same thing where you thought it was really boring. That's I think my wife's like favorite or second favorite one. I just really like the animation. I thought it was really gorgeous, like very colorful.
It was very pretty. Like the animation was awesome, but
I like everyone had like a weird texture to them, kind of like they're made out of felt or something. But yeah, it definitely was a little on the boring side because like the Jedi lights her lightsaber one time to go down a hill, and that was pretty much it. But
yeah, and the kid is singing, and I'm just like, I about fell asleep again.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Then I liked episode 7, which was the one about the guy was trying to smuggle his sister to like a haven or whatever. I think that was done by an Indian animating company, and it was fun. I like the ending. I thought the ending fight was really cool.
Yeah, the ending fight was really awesome. That kid made me so mad. For
sure.
That kid was like just pissing me off.
I think that's why I have it so low, because I really did like the ending, but like the whole like her just like not being aware of how dumb she's being just drove me insane. Yeah.
Like literally the first 8 or 12 minutes of the episode, I'm just like, this kid is freaking stupid. Just let the Empire take her at this point.
For sure. Yeah. It's not worth it, man.
Yeah. Like not worth it at all.
And then for my second least favorite, and I still like this one, but it was so dark. Like it made me depressed. And that was the second episode. That was the one about the girl.
The Screecher's Reach.
The Screecher's Reach, yeah. Where it's like, they're on an adventure and it's kind of fun. And then all of a sudden this girl's fighting a Sith witch or whatever. And then at the end, like she basically gets recruited to be a Sith apprentice. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, that's so dark. I like the animation fine. It was by that, I can't remember, is it Cartoon Saloon? They've done a bunch of really pretty movies. I think it's an Irish-based animation studio, and that's one of the things I like about this is every episode just felt so beautiful in its own way. Like it felt unique, but
totally.
God, was that a dark episode.
So
and then
is
my
your
least
last
favorite was
one
8.
The Pit?
The Pit. Yeah, I
actually kind of liked The Pit.
I just thought it was so boring, and then they're, at the end they're all chanting, and I don't know.
Yeah, that part was weird. And then
yeah,
what was wild though, they tossed that dude down the pit, and I was expecting
just toss him.
I was expecting the cliche, oh, the crowd's gonna catch him and they're gonna unite together and get out. They put the sheet over him, like they actually killed this guy. That's crazy. Yeah. They put it was neat. It's definitely not my least favorite. It's probably in the middle of the pack for me. For season 2, my overall thoughts, I don't have a list.
Sure.
But every episode, I felt like there were a lot of good episodes. Like it was more consistently good than season 1 was.
Yeah, same. I agree with that. Yeah.
I think for me though, I still like the peaks of season 1, I feel like are higher. But the consistency of season 2, I think, is better. Because there were some stuff in season 1 that I really didn't like. But there's really nothing in season 2 that I really didn't like.
Agreed.
I just thought some of it was a little slow. But the stories were still good. But season 1 had like the twins, which I thought was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Visually cool, but just wasn't for me. And then also the first episode of season 1, still need action figures of that, by the way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Definitely need a Ronin. Yeah.
And then
his droid.
The 9th Jedi, which could essentially be like the sequels almost, or like something in the future. Like that. I really loved the 9th Jedi, and I really want them to explore that, like build off of that.
Sure.
But I feel like overall season 2, it's more consistent. But season 1, I liked it peaked and valleyed more.
Yeah. If they could continue anyone from season 2, like what would you want to see more of?
Not episode 1, not episode 2. Like I know that girl got recruited, but like I don't necessarily care to follow him. In the Stars, no. Maybe more racing from I Am Your Mother, episode 4, but that's the claymation style one.
Yep.
Journey to the Darkhead would be neat. Like
that one,
the Journey. That was my favorite one from season 2.
Well, it felt like a setup. It felt like a pilot, honestly, because at the end they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go on more adventures of like this girl and this Jedi," and I'm like, "I want to see that. I want to see those adventures."
Yeah, Journey to the Darkhead would be good. The Spy Dancer sequel, where maybe the Imperial son finds his way back to the family or something.
Yeah.
Bandits of Golok, no, I don't really care. That kid annoyed me. The Pit, and that story ended, so we don't need anything.
That's done.
And then
the story's done.
If they decide to make a sequel to the last episode about the singing one before they do a Ronin sequel, I'm gonna join the Kathleen Kennedy needs to get fired train if they do that. But I think Journey to the Darkhead is like the standout from season 2 that I'd like to see more of for sure.
I agree. I would put that sort of like either the 9th Jedi or maybe not Ronin. So what's cool? Well, Ronin was so unique. The first episode of season 1. The episode was so unique. I don't even like it. It's Star Wars, but it's not Star Wars. Like everything is like a Japanese theme. Like lightsabers don't work the same way. They took a lot of artistic liberties with it. Whereas,
and they kind of completed that story, anyways.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
but
the 9th Jedi was one of the few that felt like it could be in Star Wars from season 1.
Yeah, and I love the idea that the color of the saber.
Yeah,
was
or like how strong the saber is. Yeah. But I think Journey to the Darkhead it felt more like Star Wars than anything else they've ever done in terms of like if you told me this is part of the High Republic or Old Republic or something, where they're fighting a Sith war and it's just Jedi that we no one we know or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, cool. All right, let's do it.
1,000 years before Rey, or
heck, 1,000 years after. Yeah.
Anywhere. Yeah. So season 2 was good. It was good. I fell asleep a couple of times just because I was watching them right after work, and I've been working remote all week.
Yeah.
So I'm in my basement on the couch. I'm just like, and it just put me in the mood, and I clunked out a couple of times. But overall, it was good.
Yeah, we watched it all in one go. I think that night on the 4th, that was like our Star Wars. You know, instead of watching a movie or whatever, we binged all of Visions, and that was our night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it was. It was an interesting time. So we're watching Visions, right? And we're too lazy. It's late at night because we just recorded our last episode. So and my time's like 8:00 at night, and I didn't want to cook anything because it's like super late. So I ordered DoorDash, and we're trying to decide, you know, what to get delivered, and we decided on Del Taco, which is literally, it's right across the street. Like I could have got into my car and driven there and back. We could have walked there in 10 minutes and come back. Like this, I just want to emphasize to the point of the story of how close this is and how lazy I was being. So, you know,
sometimes it's worth it.
Exactly. I didn't want to go anywhere. I was already in pajamas or whatever. You know, I just wanted to stay in. That was more important to me than the extra $20 or $10 or whatever it costs to get delivered. So they deliver us the completely wrong, like we got someone else's meal. It wasn't just they got one thing wrong or whatever. Like we just got someone else's order because it had drinks and stuff that we didn't order. So, you know, I contact them. And meanwhile, I've got this person's food. I don't know if they're going to come back for it or whatever. I don't want to touch it. It's not my food. So I put it on the counter. And then we're messaging DoorDash or whatever. And they're like, okay, we'll just reorder it for you. And so we go watch more. The food we got is sitting on our downstairs counter because I don't know what to do with it. Now we're going to wait another 10 or 15 minutes, you know, for the next order to come in. And then we watch a whole episode of Visions, and I got a message saying that our order has been canceled. And I'm like, what the heck? So we're back on, you know, messaging DoorDash because like, what the heck? Oh, I get canceled. Like, we don't know, but we just refunded you all the money as a credit. Just put the order back in again. So I'm like, okay, this is the third time we'll reorder it. And so I reorder it again. We're waiting 10 minutes, and I can see on the app that the person to pick up our food is like there. Like they're there. And keep in mind that at this point, it's been like 45 minutes and I could have just driven there and come back in 10 minutes.
You're learning your lesson.
Exactly. So we're upstairs, we're reordering our food. We put it in, we see the person waiting there. And then I get a message from my Ring doorbell that someone's at our front door. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's like the first person coming back with our food or whatever. And I hear the door open and I'm like, that's weird, and close. And I look outside, I'm like, there's nothing. I'm like, what is happening here? And then I get a call from DoorDash and I answer it and they're like, hey, I'm your driver or whatever. This is Del Taco. Del Taco wants to know if you're really meant to order this food 3 times. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't gotten it. I'm like, I just want my food. And then while I'm on the phone, my wife yells down, Mike, someone was in our house. And I'm just like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like on the phone with DoorDash. And my wife's like, you know, she's only yelling because like she's talking to me from upstairs. You know, she was freaked out or anything. But like someone randomly had just come into our house. And the only reason our door was unlocked is because of the whole DoorDash like thing. I forgot to relock the door. So it's like someone walked in and walked back out. Anyways, we eventually got our food, but someone, I think it was our next door neighbor, they had someone visiting and they just walked into our house, like the wrong house or whatever. It was just a whole weird night. It took an hour.
There's some weird energy around there.
It took an hour for us to get food that was right across the street. But while we were waiting for our order to come the third time, I broke down and started eating the food that we got originally. So then when we got our actual food, I wasn't even hungry anymore.
Oh my gosh.
But it was the principle of the matter because I wanted the food I ordered. You know, when you want something, you want it.
Was it at least good, like leftover for the lunch the next day, or?
Honestly, I think we ended up throwing it away because it's Del Taco. Like it's just gonna like no one wants day old tacos from Del Taco. I don't know.
So
it was a whole thing, man.
Since I don't live near Del Taco,
it's like Taco Bell, but
yeah. But I've seen the debates online, Del Taco or Taco Bell. So which one do you prefer, Del Taco over Taco Bell, or is it more of a convenience thing?
I vastly prefer Taco Bell.
Oh, really?
My wife hates Taco Bell. That and Del Taco's right across the street. So the whole point was that it would come the fastest of any of our food. Yeah. Except for, it took an hour and a half.
I don't mind Taco Bell. Like when I'm in a pinch, I'll get a beefy 5-layer burrito, and then the nacho dip on the side. But I just have a problem with like me and my wife will go there, and it used to be so cheap. Like we could both eat there for like $8.
Taco Bell is way cheap. Yeah.
But now if we go there now, like we could just go to like a restaurant, like an actual we could go to an actual like Mexican restaurant and like for $6 more have a way better meal.
I know. No, it's so true.
Yeah. Taco Bell is just so expensive.
It's so true. Reason, yeah. It's and that's true for all of fast food. Like I remember back in the day, like it used to be so like $5-6 to get a whole meal, like fries, burger, drink, or whatever, and now like $15. It's so crazy.
Yeah, but I guess back to Star Wars.
Right, we have a Star Wars podcast.
So let's talk Jedi Survivor. So let's before we get into spoilers.
Yeah.
Let's do. Well, I guess people are sticking around because of Vision spoilers. So should we do some spoiler-free stuff before spoilers, or just go right in?
Let's just talk. I know we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about
spoilers.
All of Survivor.
Full spoilers. Yeah. Full spoilers. Warning.
This is it. If you haven't finished the game yet, like.
So let's give them like let's give the last people like 30 seconds to leave.
Yeah.
If they don't want to hear full spoilers.
Like hold on. When did Jedi Survivor come out?
It came out April 28th.
April 28th. So it's been a little less than a month. I feel like that's a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah. So I think people they've had plenty of time now to leave or pause the podcast.
Yeah.
Or leave the pod if they don't want. So were you a fan of the story more, or do you prefer the first game?
I preferred the first game's story. I prefer the second game's gameplay.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
So Seer dies.
Yeah. Will, before we get there, I was shocked that the Hermaster was still alive, because I just assumed he was dead from the first game. I can't remember his name.
Cordova.
Yeah, Cordova. Just from how they talked or whatever, he was a hologram the whole time, and I just assumed because of that he was dead, but nope, he's there. He's alive. He's just a guy. Of course, he dies too. Fucking Bode.
Yeah, the thing I liked about the story in the game Survivor, they weren't afraid to kill people.
Yep,
like
it's true.
They didn't do that bullshit Rise of Skywalker thing where like, oh, Chewbacca's dead, oh, he's back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they didn't do that bullshit thing with what the Kenobi show did, which I love the Kenobi show, but like Reva takes how many people in that show take a stab wound to the gut and just like fall over,
and they're back,
and then then they stand up like the day later they're good.
Well, to be fair, not to be fair, but I guess counterpoint is what I should say. They did do that with Cal Kestis in the game.
Yeah, that's true. But they were like, they killed people and they didn't, like, people legit died, and they let Cal, they let Cal be brutal. Like, bro shot Bode when he was defenseless. And
in front of his daughter.
In front of his daughter. And I was cheering my ass off, because that does, like, next time somebody says Disney is, like, soft and ruining Star Wars, like, go watch that shit. Dude just murdered his...
Well, that's also just not true. Watch Rebels.
Watch Rogue One and Kanan gets good. But, like, they weren't afraid to give people the axe. And the Kenobi show was because Reva should have taken the axe versus Vader, because that twist was enough. Like that she was like, that was a good twist. But then she survived. Like,
I agree. There would, unless they do something with their character, even if they do, like, you're right, I agree. It would have been more interesting if she had died in the story, and I would have cared more had she died. And that's just one of those things that, with Vader specifically, I don't mind that they put him in stuff. But you can't he can't lose. You know, you can't make Vader like the villain of the week that always like, I'll be back next time, or whatever. You've thwarted me again. Like, you know, because like in Rebels, you know,
got Seer.
Yes, absolutely. But it was a brutal fight. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, Seer shouldn't have been as good. No, like I thought that was great. I thought the way that they handled the fight was fantastic.
A lot of people are saying like, how could Seer damage Vader that much? If you actually like pay attention to it and look back, because trust me, I fought Vader like 40 fucking times. I saw those cutscenes like way more times than I should have.
It was a really annoying fight for sure.
I think she only gets one real saber contact on him. And if you remember, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke, barely trained, gets a good shot on Vader's shoulder, and then he becomes furious, puts two hands on it. Seer, the really only bad thing that happened to Vader in that whole fight was she used the Force to drop a flaming library bookshelf on him. And that's like, and then he comes up from that and fucking kills her. Like that's it.
Oh, and the fight gets way harder after that, for sure.
And she doesn't even really do anything that damaging to him. It's just dropping that. It's mostly just the environment that got him beat up, not necessarily her. So she really,
I mean, part of it's because it's a video game. You know, it's really hard to tell how many hits you get on him because she hits him a lot. Like when I was fighting him, I was hitting him a lot because it's a game. He has a health bar.
But I think
that's how you show progression.
You know,
100% agreed. But I think a lot of people they don't really look at it like that. They just see, I've hit Vader a bunch, you know.
Oh, look how damaged he is. You know, he got brutalized. But it's more like just that one thing. You know, if the bookshelf didn't fall on him, then he would have been pretty clean other than maybe a dink or two. You know? Right. So the people complaining that Seer was able to do that, like, I don't really buy it. And she's also a Jedi Master who's been active this whole time in the dark times. And Kenobi was able to damage him pretty good. And he was mostly inactive. And he's also Obi-Wan Kenobi, but
he's also Obi-Wan, But
she's a Jedi Master who's still in practice.
To your point, like even at the end of the first game, like Seer, it's not like Seer didn't have any talent. Like she was taking out Inquisitors and stuff, no problem. And when they were storming the fortress, you know, like she's not a slouch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad. I'm not glad she died in the fact that like, oh yeah, she's dead. But like I thought it served the story well. It gave Cal, you know, that whatever push to the dark side they're going for, where he's kind of like
embrace the
going
dark,
back and forth. Yeah.
And I think
the story is interesting. Yeah,
I'm excited for the trilogy. I think they announced that they've always kind of seen it as a trilogy. So hopefully the bugs are better on the third game they do.
Oh yeah, it was so buggy. Like
the frame rates dropping on some cutscenes and parts of the game.
Frame rates don't bug me that much. Like I get it, but it doesn't. It's not a deal breaker for me unless it's just so bad. And I didn't think it was that bad. Like I noticed it, but what did bug me were just the random ass bugs or the game crashing.
I got caught in a really bad bug where I was like, I dropped off a ledge and I was completely stuck. And the only thing I could do is ignite the saber on, and I could just spin, but he wouldn't let me jump. It wouldn't let me walk.
You couldn't die. So I had the same problem.
I had to turn off the game, and like there hadn't been a rest. What are they called? The rest area things.
The rest area
meditation thing.
Yeah.
And for a while, so I had to like restart. I was pissed off.
I had the exact same problem on one time. It was just me jumping, and I was just stuck in the air. And I could spin around, I could ignite my saber, but I couldn't do anything. I'm just like,
you just get stuck in certain little like It just happened like a couple times throughout the game. But for a game that's already been released, already been delayed, it was pushed back one time. Like they got to get some of that. I was also a little disappointed in some of the graphics were great, but I was expecting like some of the cutscenes to be like the PS5 Spider-Man quality, because that game was like still probably the most HD I've ever seen.
Agreed.
Some cutscenes, and even like in the game, if you just screenshot, there were like some of the most 4K like HD things there, but it was like HD, and I have like HD 4K TV, but like it wasn't as great as I was hoping it was gonna be that, but it just wasn't quite that.
I didn't think it looked really any better than Jedi Survivor, honestly. Like, sure, maybe a little bit, but not to the point where I'm now playing it on a PS5, like over a PS4. I guess I was expecting a little more. Yeah.
It didn't feel like that it was like the new, like the most upgraded graphics,
Yeah.
In my opinion. But it was
I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a great game overall. The story, was really awesome.
Yeah.
But and fucking Bode, man, I wanted to figure that guy so bad throughout the game, and then
now I don't. I mean, if they make one, I'll buy it. But still,
I'll buy two and stomp on one of them. But that dude, I was not expecting that Bode twist. Like that actually got me. I'm glad I didn't get that spoiled. I got Vader spoiled, but I kind of knew he was going to show up eventually. I didn't know he was going to be leading that surge on the Jedi temple.
I got the Vader that he was in it spoiled, but I didn't know any context around what was happening there. I didn't get spoiled was Boba Fett, and that was a fun surprise.
Yeah, I still haven't. I got that spoiled for me, but I haven't been to that part yet.
Yeah, you have to complete all the bounties. Yeah, that's the last bounty.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah.
Wilbon says we should do a Black Series Cantina battle for a night. You know what? That's funny, Wilbon. You don't have to convince me to do that.
It's true.
That's the guy you got to convince. He's owned the game for like a year. I convinced him to buy it. I own it, and he hasn't played it. Me and Lance Peter Luke. You know what? Also, I have
Squadrons. I love Squadrons too. We could have a dogfight.
We could see. I played Squadrons for like half an hour or an hour, and I was like, "This is hard. I can't do it." And I gave up.
Oh, I love flight games. Those are my favorite.
I was like, "This is way too hard. I just can't do it."
I loved X-Wing and TIE Fighter back on PC and stuff. Those are my jam.
So I think for Squadrons, I ended up just watching all the stuff on YouTube, like the cutscenes and all that for the story.
Yeah. So on the third game, do you think they're gonna do like a God of War or Last of Us, where it's like, Cal Kestis going around with Bode's daughter?
It sure seemed to set up that way because she's literally on the Mantis.
Yeah. That or on Kobo, she's hanging out with the plant lady on the roof because I guess they didn't want to put a little girl in a bar.
Yeah, true. So they're probably going to maybe use that to play down the, like, he has to be there for her, so he's not going to turn to the dark side. Like, maybe that'll keep him from going. He'll see what happened to Bode. But let's talk about Marin. Yeah. They're getting it now. That's what I was most excited for. They started kissing, and I started cheering. Yeah. Because then after the first game, I was like, "There's something here. There's something here for my boy Cal." And so now I'm excited that they're space smashing.
Yeah, I really like their banter. I like their love story. I like that Cal's like, he's like, fine. Like, I guess, like, I'm not gonna be as Jedi as I should be. Is basically what he said.
Yeah. I mean, the order died for a reason.
100%. I also love the fight on Jeddah where you're using her like transporty powers or whatever. Like, that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, her powers were really cool. What do you think of like the Spider-Man gadget, the pull gadget? I thought it was a little gimmicky.
The ascension cable?
Yeah, I thought it was a little gimmicky at first. And then I was like, I got used to it, but I still feel like it's a little not Star Wars, I feel like. It feels a little like Marvel-esque or something.
Maybe a little bit. I'm like that better than I liked the whole jumping through a green force field so you could double jump and then triple jump again or whatever, That felt more in the universe than just, you can jump through force fields.
Yeah, and then because she gives you that device and now you can like
the little talisman
dash
or whatever.
Them. Yeah, that was a little like is that canon? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like, how come Luke's not doing that? Or how come
a Night Sister thing? Yeah.
If only Obi-Wan had that on Phantom, on Naboo, Qui-Gon would still be with us. But
right.
All these gadgets, but yeah, that felt a little like not But it's a video game. You know, they're gonna.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to take a lot of the stuff in terms of it's a video game. Like, should you be killing a lot of these guys in one hit? Absolutely. You have a lightsaber. Like, there's no question that most of these stormtroopers and stuff that take 2 or 3 hits to take down, or those stupid the raider guys that are pains in the asses, or those stupid chickens that can kill you.
Well, those piss me off because they have all their attacks are the red. You have to dodge it. You can't do anything about it.
But it's a video game, and they do it because it's a video game.
Yeah.
But the most bullshit of all the bullshit were the Rancor and the Ogdo Bogdo one-hit kills. Because screw both of those. The Rancor was bad enough. Like, I got him, fine, cool. But then when you find the spawn of Ogdo Bogdo on Kobo and fight him, like, that sucked. But then on one of those force tears, you have to fight him and Ogdo Bogdo at the same time. And that double sucked.
Those force tears are a lot of fun. What do you think about them? I think they're a great addition to the game.
Oh, I like them. The first one took me a little while to figure out. The first one I found was the one where the force field was coming towards you, and every time you jumped, it switched back and forth. And I was like, what is happening? Like, it took me like 3 or 4 deaths to figure out that it switched when I jumped, because I was always trying to time it. Like, it's coming in and I'll jump, but then because I jumped, it would switch, and I'm like, what the heck? So
the first one I came across, it was a bunch of droids.
Yeah. The one we have to kill like 100 of them or whatever.
And then a bunch of purge troopers.
Oh,
well, I guess I can't remember with the first one. I feel like the second one I did was nothing but droids, and then the first one there was like 2 purge troopers, a couple super battle droids.
Yeah.
And then that was pretty difficult. The most annoying enemy in the game, though, that's not like a super big beast. Yeah. Or plus also the chickens. But
that's not the chicken. Yeah.
But like for troopers, the flame trooper, dude. The flame troopers.
100%. Because you can't even pull him towards you if he's flaming thing. Like, it sucks.
The flame troopers were so like bothersome to me. Like, and I never got to do the like, I need to go back and do the where you pull and you turn the flame trooper around and spray the fire. Like, I was never able to pull that off with a flame trooper.
Oh, that was one of the most fun features of this.
Yeah.
I didn't go down that path at first of like pulling and pushing things, but once I started, I was like, okay, this is actually a lot of fun of making them kill each other.
Yeah, I felt like I was going through the game so fast. By the time I got to the end, I was like, wait, I can like pull and turn people around. I remember this from the trailer, So I never did it to a flame trooper, but when I do, I'm going to go back in and do all the side stuff, and I'll do it for sure then. But
I pretty much completed everything on my first playthrough. Before I was trying to get as much done before Zelda came out as I could. So I 100% did Kobo. I did all the force tears in the game. Some of them are absolute bullshit. The parkour ones, like there's one that's all just those green force fields. That one sucks. And there's one that's all zip lines.
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Some of them are just god awful in terms of just because what sucks about them is with the ones where you have to fight 2 Rancors or Ogdo Bogdo, or there's one where there's 3 big beasts you have to fight. Like, those are hard, but you could turn the difficulty down if you need to. But you can't turn the difficulty down on
like parkour stuff.
On parkour stuff, you either are good at jumping or you're not good at jumping.
Yeah.
And that sucked. But I eventually did them all. There was a couple, like the force field one. I was there for like 45 minutes trying over and over and over again. I was so tired of hearing Cal say, "That wasn't it. Something's not right, BD." Like over and over again. Once he it's just
what I'm tired of?
It was real rough. Yeah. What?
Somebody needs to teach Cal that you can basically cut through anything with a lightsaber, because you always get this door is locked from the other side. Just cut through that shit.
That was like half the game. Oh, there's a door. I bet I can't open it.
Yeah. So I saw a meme on the Reddit. You might have seen it, but it was It said, "Imagine when you get to heaven and it says the door is locked from the other side."
From
And
the other
then
side,
so you get rejected from heaven.
Yeah. That's true.
Like
That's good.
so that's always annoying. I was annoyed by that the first game.
Yeah.
It's like, so
Yeah.
you're telling me I just did this whole like walkthrough and then now I have this shortcut here? Like,
Yeah.
of course. And
Well, that's it. Well, it's nice when you have to come back. You don't have to go
Yeah.
through all that to do it again, but still, it sucks.
yeah. And I've never been a big, I think last time we talked about this when we were doing spoiler free, I've never been a big puzzle guy. So I'll just like YouTube the puzzle stuff. But luckily, I guess the middle, like the later you get in the game, there's less of those like
Yes.
tougher puzzles, which I thought was nice, that the first half of the game seemed heavier on those than the second half.
I also loved, one of the things you could find were upgrades to the map where it showed you where all of the things were to collect. Because when you're just guessing, you're like, okay, this area has like 35 collectibles. What the hell? And a lot of them are like those little pyrites or like flowers on Kobo or whatever. And you're just like, what am I missing here? So it was nice getting those map upgrades so that you could just go find them and you don't have to like run around trying to look for bullshit on the ground or whatever. So that was nice.
Did you how good did you get your garden?
I put stuff in everything because there's a map upgrade up there.
Yeah.
So I got enough to I planted one of every plant, basically. Every kind of plant. And that's about as good as I got it, I guess.
I haven't gotten,
but I didn't really see a point to it other than planting stuff. I'm not going to harvest it. Like I'm not going to reorganize it. I don't know.
Yeah, you figure you'd be able to do some sort of like
what do you do with it? Yeah.
Yeah, like collect it for like health points, but at a certain point in the game, like you don't need that. So I don't know.
I did like going around and recruiting people to come to the town and into the cantina. Like I thought that was kind of a fun thing, like getting the musicians.
Yeah, I like
Scuba Stev.
I liked watching the tank get cleaner and all that. That was cool.
Yeah,
like, little evolution
when you're finding the fish. And did you have him tell you the whole story? Like,
not yet.
Okay, yeah. Every time you find a fish, like you could talk to him again, and he tells you like this really long story, and it's like it's like a 12-part story or whatever.
That sounds.
And
awful.
He just talks forever. No, it was actually, I kind of liked it because I like Scuba Stev a lot.
Have you found it's the cave on? I think it's on Kobo. I can't remember, but I haven't found it yet or haven't gone to it. Where you go through like a secret side passage and it takes 2 whole minutes to walk through, and it's the droids painting
It's the droids painting a Wampa thing.
Yeah.
I haven't found it, but I saw people post it on Reddit. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So one person, I thought I was stuck in a glitch, and then 2 minutes later it pops out and there's droids painting
There's droids painting a Wampa. He's like all in a sexy pose or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't it? How sick would that Wampa thing be in the Black Series?
Oh, I would love one.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. And they could totally do it too. You just take the Wampa, give him a different head, paint him brown or whatever color he is, like easy peasy.
Yeah.
Fix his arm articulation though. Just give him a real both arms. He doesn't need a removable arm.
Yeah, I love the game. I did think it was weird that like Vader stabs Seer and he stands up. I was expecting him to slash her one more time to give her a good, like, okay, I know you're dead now. But then, so he stabs Seer and then he walks away. And then by the time Seer falls, Cal catches her head before it hits the ground.
Yeah.
How is Vader not like, oh, now I got to fuck up this kid?
Did not turn around.
How long was she standing there before she fell?
Yeah.
Did Vader leave the room and then as soon as he leaves, Cal walks in? Like,
no, what happened was Vader quick traveled. He just quick traveled on the map. He fast traveled,
which is very convenient. That's like a great feature.
Oh, it's such a great feature. Like not having to run all the way back through a map, or to something at the edge of the map because you missed it the first go around. Ugh.
Oh yeah, Wilbon's got a good idea. Top 5 potential figures from Survivor.
Oh well, I mean Marin, obviously. I'm not going to count Cal because we already have a Cal. Okay. So I would say Marin, as much as I don't want him, Bode, but I would want a lightsaber with him. Like he needs a lightsaber to go with him. Probably Ravis, guys, because then we could get a Scourge.
He'd be
hopefully,
huge too. Yeah.
from that. Yeah, I would love a Ravus. Obviously I can't remember the guy's name, but
Dagon.
Dagon. Yeah, whatever. But I think I would want the force arm that he has when you get him into like the second or third phase. Because it's like a see-through transparent arm.
Yeah.
I think I would prefer him to have that, just because I think that'd be
cool
more
if
fun.
it was like removable and you could put a little cover attachment, like a skin sort of, so you have the option. They could do it if they had the budget, or like if they want to allocate that much resources towards it.
Yeah,
but I think
that would be cool. That's the issue.
Yeah, Dagon would be good. I'm not going to count stuff that we've seen in other canon, like Vader and
sure, and
the Super Battle Droid. Like Super Battle Droid would be great, but
or Magna Guard
stuff
that's
like
from
that,
the game,
and like the Droideka. But for like for Survivor specific, like Bode, especially at the end.
I'd want what's his face, Grievous, or not Grievous. What's the forearm guy's name? Is it Grievous?
What?
No.
Oh, Grease.
The little guy. Grease. That was it. I can't want to say Grievous, and it starts with a G, and my brain would not get off Grievous.
I feel like I prefer his Fallen Order look more, but I can't remember.
Well, what I like about it is there's clearly a story about how he lost his hand, and we don't get to see it, but they talk about it. Yeah. It was one of the reasons
he does have a metal
why
hand
they broke up or whatever. But maybe him on his chair would be pretty cool, like from the Cantina.
Yeah, and then obviously like a seer, like Jedi Master Seer.
A Jedi Seer, yeah.
Would be sick.
A Jedi Seer would be
that'd be
cool.
a lot better than her Fallen Order look. Her like just regular
I much preferred her look, in
Survivor
over Fallen Order, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer Grease's Fallen Order look though.
That's fair.
I'm looking at it now, like the red with the shorter chops. Like the long chops are cool too, but I like the shorter, just in the clean chin, the shaven chin with the big chops there. But I mean, either one, Grease would be really cool.
You know what I would like from the game? A Rancor.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to episode. Yeah, I mean, we could have had one, motherfuckers.
Oh, Gamer Zone 24 says he lost his arm in the Jedi Battle Scars book. Okay, I know that there's a book that came out that takes place in between the two games, and that makes a lot of sense. That probably fills in a lot of those holes. Maybe I'll get that on Audible so I can.
Yeah, is there like a comic book for Cal or anything in between?
I don't think so. Just that one book. There's the book. It's just the book. Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't done comic stuff with him.
Sure. I mean, I want to see more. Yeah. I definitely want to know what's going on because he's like we said. I don't want to say Gray Jedi because I don't think Gray Jedi is a thing, and I will die on that hill. But he's definitely struggling with the dark side of the Force more than he was. Yeah,
and I think because I mentioned in the game, and it's like hinted at through not even hinted at, it's like covered in other Star Wars mediums where every Jedi has to face the dark side at some point.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is just his, and he's doing it in a much more difficult time to manage, probably because he doesn't necessarily have
because he doesn't have any
other Jedi.
He doesn't have any support. Yeah, exactly.
So, and so I feel because we saw Ezra deal with it, we obviously saw Anakin fail to deal with it.
Yeah,
when we've seen all these,
Seer dealt with it in the first game for the most part. So,
and we've seen like that one guy on Dathomir in the first game, he fell.
Yep,
all these Inquisitors
have absolutely
been influenced by it.
Yeah. And I was surprised to see the ninth sister. Is the fifth ninth sister? Yeah, I was surprised to see her back in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was right at the beginning too. I was it was
right at the beginning. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great game. I'm really like glad that it's finally, because I feel like we were looking forward to it for so long because it just takes so long to make these games. There's just so much effort they have to put into it, and I think it delivered.
Me too. Yeah,
I don't have any like big complaints other than some of the bugs, but really like with modern video games, there isn't like there's just bugs in mostly everything. I know it sucks, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. So my current plan, like I said, I stopped playing for the new Zelda game that came out, and then Final Fantasy 16 comes out. So by the time I'm done with Zelda and Final Fantasy, it'll probably be like the end of the year. And then my plan, hopefully by then, they've got a lot of the bugs, there's updates and stuff like that to fix a lot of the issues. And then I'll go back and do a New Game Plus and like kind of revisit it. Yeah.
I'm gonna still do. I'm not gonna go as hard like I have been, because I really wanted to complete the story before we did this podcast so we could actually talk about it while it's fresh. So I'm not gonna go as hard doing the side stuff right now, but I am gonna, like, when I have time, just do some side stuff and like really enjoy it for a while, and then maybe in the summer or fall time, if they fix all the bugs, then that's when I'm gonna like, I'm gonna wait for the story to be fresh again.
Sure.
And then do the New Game Plus so I can like really live through it one more time.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I liked about the first game, and I feel like the second game did it as well, is like, sure, the story's great, but there are a lot of really cool moments that aren't tied to the story, that are tied to just dicking around. So like in the first game, there's the whole going through the Venator crashed ship. Like, that's not part of the story. You can complete that whole game never going through the Venator, but it's one of the coolest parts of the game is going through the crashed ship and seeing all that stuff. And there's stuff like that in Jedi Survivor as well, that like, you don't have to do it to complete the game, but it's worth going through and seeing these little spots. Like, one of my favorite things is I went back to that Nova place, the
Empire base.
If you do it afterwards, there's a bunch of Force echoes that weren't there the first time that show what happened after you left, where Vader and the Inquisitors came.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sick.
So it's
I'm
worth revisiting.
That now.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that now. That's awesome. Yeah, that was honestly my favorite parts of the game are like whenever you're walking around in the Empire stuff. Because one of my favorite parts of the first game was that very first mission where you're going through that starship, and there's all like the clone helmets and droids everywhere and all that. So like, that's always my favorite stuff, is walking around like the Empire bases. And whenever you're walking around, I need a Cal Empire, like Imperial.
Oh yeah, when he was disguising some of his ISB, like that was fun.
And I want to say, personally, the default hair for Cal in this era should be the windswept hair. The windswept hair.
Windswept is real good. Yeah,
it should be the default look for Cal, in my opinion.
I did bandana because it went with. No, I did bandana, or I did the Ford chop, but because I did the Rebel jacket, Luke's jacket, but I made it purple, and it's like purple and silver, and I gave him white pants, and I feel like with the bandana, he just looked like this '80s glam rocker that I just really love. But I agree, the windswept hair is. It's a top tier hair choice.
Yeah, so I just like really hope, since I'm holding out, and I talked about this last show, I'm holding out on the Cal that's currently released, even though it's in stock on Amazon right now. Like I've literally, when I finished the game, I was like so close to just like, oh, I need Cal though. I can't wait.
Yeah,
but I'm holding out hope for a deluxe build-up pack, whatever they want to do.
I want him to have a crossguard lightsaber.
I want him to have the sabers, and I want him to have. We need like an alternate head for like people who want long hair and people who want short hair. And we need to have like it'd be the perfect opportunity to release a figure, and then release like sort of those, like whenever you were talking to Eric at SDCC or wherever it was, whenever you asked him about accessory packs, is the perfect opportunity, because people want their figure to look like how they customized it in the game. So release a $25 accessory pack with like 2 or 3 heads, 4 different sabers, like blades,
different blade colors.
Day one, you know, like blade colors, lightsaber styles.
Yeah,
like I'd be all for that.
What stances did you run?
Ooh, so once I realized that, like, I mained double-sided and then cross-guard, because I realized with double-bladed, I didn't like the dual wield. I felt that was weak.
Me neither. Yeah, I didn't like it.
I felt like I wasn't doing any damage, and I couldn't block anybody for some reason.
Yeah.
But I felt like with dual wield or with double-bladed, I could really kick people's ass, like if I was to be faster than them and do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And then with cross guard, with the bigger beefy guys, you could block their attacks, and then you could parry and just really like do damage with that off the parries.
One of my favorite parts of cross guard is beefing it so when you did the blaster ricochet, it would hit back harder. Mm-hmm. Like those, if you ricochet like a droidica blast, it would take out the shield in one hit.
Yeah.
So my mained cross guard, but then I really enjoyed the blaster stance. I liked all the little flourishes and stuff he did. That was just more of a fun kind of thing. But the blaster stance is how I beat Ogdo Bogdo. Both of those, like,
oh, right, nice,
yeah. So, with them specifically, I know the cross guard did more damage, but it was just too slow. And I didn't like that it does that kick, like if you're running at someone and it does like the drop kick at them.
Yeah, I thought that was dumb, because I just want to like
that doesn't do any damage.
Yeah, I want to wail at him on the saber. Like let me like bring it from over top or something, or do a stab, with it, but. He does a drop kick like WWE style. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You have a lightsaber.
It was fun drop kicking people off a ledge. Like that was fun if you could
run
get
behind
in the right
him
spot.
and surprise. But I thought that was like one of the weaker parts of it. But overall, I thought the cross guard and then the double bladed was the best combo for like quickness. I could have quickness and then I could have the overpower.
Yeah,
because I was with Ravis. I texted the group chat. I was like, I cannot beat this motherfucker. And then it took me like probably like 10 tries. And then before I realized, hold on, let me pull the cross guard out on this guy. And then it took me like, I just kicked his ass. It took me 2 tries. I think I beat him.
Yeah,
because I could actually block his attacks and not and actually felt like stand up to him.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And Wilbon's right on Ogdo Bogdo. Jumping instead of trying to dodge, like jumping is how to get away from that, especially the tongue, that stupid tongue. Yeah.
Yeah. What were the, did you have any troubles with the bosses? Like what bosses did you have the most difficulty with?
Vader and honestly, probably Vader. Like, I think I got Ravis down. I think it took me like 3 tries to get Ravis down. I think it took me like maybe 4 or 5 times for Dagon, because I think the third phase is really, I fucking hated it when he split up into a couple different
that sucked
people or whatever. Yeah, I didn't like that.
That's when I started doing with the double bladed, the triangle where you throw it and you hit triangle again, you throw it even wider.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's I started doing. You're right, that would have been better for sure. Ogdo Bogdo, the spawn of Ogdo Bogdo, obviously, like. I died to him probably more than anyone, more than Vader, more than anyone. Like, but Vader, as far as like story boss, I think Vader was the hardest. But I still like it. Didn't take me that many tries, but probably like 10 tries or so.
It took me so long to get him to beat Vader. Like it took me way longer than it should. He was definitely the hardest. Yeah, I had a really easy time with Dagon. I beat him in like the second run of it. And I think it's because by the time I got to him, I didn't really have a whole lot of stems left. So
that's the other problem.
Whenever I died and revived, I would have them all. And I think I did him pretty well. But
that was the other problem with Vader, is because Seer only had those 4 heals. Whereas, at that point with what's his face, like I think halfway through the story with Cal, I had like 6 or 7 stems. Like I was finding all the little secrets.
Yeah, see, I had 4. Like 4 is the most I got.
Oh wow! I was fighting before I beat the game. I had all 12. Yeah,
I was fighting with the 4 stems for every boss.
Wow,
like Ravis.
That
and
sucks.
Oh. I know. So that's why I had such a hard time with Ravis, and then Dagon. I had a pretty easy time with him, but Ravis and Vader were like just insane. And then Bode wasn't too bad. But he did.
I didn't have too much of a trouble. Yeah,
I think it was the third phase. He kept
harder.
getting me in the third phase. It took me like 5 or 6 times with him.
Well, yeah, he has that move where he grabs you and puts the detonator on you and stuff. Yeah, like that sucked. Yeah,
I didn't even play on hard. I played on the Jedi Knight, like the middle.
Well,
mode.
he's saying because you didn't get any stims. Like I had.
Oh yeah,
I accidentally found so many stims. Honestly,
I didn't really have a lot of stims, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I had 4. I thought that was a lot.
Like you only
I
found 1 extra stem. You get 3 right at the beginning of the game.
I didn't know you could get up to 12, or I would have been trying a little harder to get the stem.
I had 12. Like this, there's 13 if you use the perk.
Holy crap! I was doing 4 against all these bosses.
Jeez.
I thought that was like the max.
No, the first game had 10.
Jesus Christ! No wonder I'm over here like. Just beat the game 4 days ago.
You need more stims, dude. That's why it sucked having bosses with 1-hit kills. Because like, no matter how many stims you have left, if they can get you and kill you in 1 hit, like that sucked.
And that's why I was having a hard time whenever you had to go through that Nova Empire base.
Oh, the gauntlet part?
Because you run into all these different types of troopers and like these giant the droids with the spinning arms, and you just get through. So you have to go through that gauntlet thing at the beginning where there's so many waves, and I was on 4 stems, so by the time I'd be done with that, I'd have like 1 stem left maybe, and I had to continue still, and I would die and have to go back. Yeah, that was tough. I did it on 4 stems.
Honestly, it's impressive you did it on 4 stems, because the whole time you were complaining I thought you sucked. And now I'm just like, no, that's actually pretty good for 4 stems.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I have pride now. I'm not going to do any more.
Yeah, no, you did a good job. Absolutely,
going forward. Well, now for the next game, I know to build up like 12 stems before I fight.
You need more stems.
All the bosses. I feel so dumb.
There's like 3 or 4 stem containers on Kobo itself. Like,
Jesus Christ, I need to do more.
Yeah, it's doing all the side stuff. That's how I did it, because I was doing all the rumors and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel dumb and courageous at the same time.
Yeah. So there's already, the game just came out, but there's already a sort of what's that effect? Well, Mandela effect with the game, and a lot of people think that the Rick the Door Technician fight happened on the Nova Imperial base and not Kobo.
No. It happened. Wait a second. Hang on. Rick the Door Tech.
Yeah, it's a boss fight.
Yeah, because the boss music plays, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
and then you kill him in 1
hit.
He
has a bar and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I hit him with the cross saber, where you hold.
Yeah. And for me at that point, I was down to 0 stems, and so I'm like, shit, a boss.
You had 12 stems and you were down to 0.
I don't know how many I had at that point, but I had, But yeah, no, because a lot of people swear up and down that he happens later in the game, but no, he happens on Kobo, and it's part of the story. Like it's part of going through the Imperial base, going up the mountain.
Wow, yeah, I am kind of feeling that now too. Yeah, it just visually it looks like it would happen on that.
Yeah, because it feels like it would match better. A lot of people forget, I think, that Kobo has that Imperial base on it that you have to go through.
Yeah.
But he's definitely part of that and not any other part of the game. But there are people that will argue with you online that you're wrong about it. And here's the thing, I'm not wrong. And they're like, well, maybe my game was different. Like, it's not. It's a scripted fight. Yeah. It's a scripted fight that's part of the story. And it's, I like let out a barking guffaw when I killed him. I was like, oh, that was it. All right. Poor Rick. Feel bad for the guy.
What if you got on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, and you saw that everybody was having the hardest time with Rick the Door Tech, like even harder than the main, and you were like, mine killed him in 1 shot. What the hell?
Like, how would you buy a Black Series Rick the Technician?
Oh, easy.
It's the same figure we already have.
It's a scout. I was gonna say it's a scout trooper. Didn't he have a shield and a baton?
He had no, I don't think he had a shield, honestly.
I can't,
because he was a pretty. He was a pretty.
Yeah, he didn't even have a shield.
He doesn't even have a shield. He's just a regular scout trooper.
Yes, I already got
I'm gonna look him up
right
now.
I've already bought him.
You do. He doesn't even have a shoulder pauldron. He's just a regular, like, scout trooper with the baton.
Yeah, you can get him on a card back.
But if they came out with one, if they came out with one that was labeled that might be a figure I don't open. Like if it was like a convention exclusive or something. Yeah. Because that's the only way you know he's Rick. Like if you put him on your shelf, he's going to look like all your other figures.
Yeah.
But like Rick the door technician, if they came out with one, I would buy it and I would keep it. Like that would be a perfect like convention exclusive is what that would be.
Yeah, I mean, I like it if they did like a what's the big gaming convention every year? Is it like C2 E2 or E3?
Oh yeah.
Just one of those big game, like make it like a gaming like have it drop online that day. Have like a special thing. Like that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, for sure.
Make it like a limited version because maybe not a ton of people would go after it.
But I definitely wouldn't open it. That would be one.
Yeah,
that'd
be one you got to keep sealed.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Well, I think you got any, and we're definitely going to keep talking about Survivor the more. We're
for sure.
Yeah. With the episode. So do you have any last minute things on Survivor before we jump off here?
I don't think so. I think that's I enjoyed the game. I give it out of 5. I give it like a if they fix stuff about it, I give it like a 4.25 out of 5.
Mm-hmm. I was going to go in that 4 range. Yeah.
Yeah. With it being broken with like, glitches and whatnot, I give it like a 3.75 out of 5. Like I really enjoyed it, but there were enough glitches and stuff that it kind of, it, like especially with things like them not being the video and audio not being in sync with like cutscenes and stuff like that. It's like it's really annoying. And at this point, like that, you should have that figured out.
Yeah,
but
like I mentioned earlier, I thought that some of the cutscenes were going to be like I have a 65-inch 4K, TV. I thought it was going to be the quality visually of that Marvel Spider-Man PS5 game. Yeah, the Miles Morales game.
Yeah,
but it didn't quite reach that level. So I know they didn't put, I guess, that amount of resources. I don't know, like the amount of resources I don't know, but I thought it was going to be that on the cutscenes, and they were good, but they weren't like that,
Were you playing on high frame rate or higher visuals side? Because it makes you choose the beginning.
The performance or I can't remember what I did. I did whatever Luke said.
I switched back and forth, and honestly, I couldn't tell.
I don't really tell a difference, honestly. I just I don't want a lot of motion blur.
Yeah.
Because I feel like things can be a little clear without it. But I can't honestly I feel like it doesn't even really make a difference to me. Like I don't have that kind of eye. I just know that whenever I screenshot Darth Vader in the game in the cutscene versus my screenshots of the Miles Morales game, like it's a world. It looks like a next console is the Miles Morales.
Agreed.
Like just my screenshots that aren't upped any, like digitally. I'm not digitally editing it. Like it looks like absolutely phenomenal. Like you'd go to a movie and watch it and pay, get like a movie ticket. But one more thing I do want to mention about it. I wish I could, like the Revenge of the Sith PlayStation 2 game, where you can pick what chapter I don't know. This game isn't broken down by chapters, but I feel like if like in 3 years I want to go back, and if I just want to play like, I want to fight that Ravis. I want to fight Vader. I feel like I shouldn't have to play through the whole game to get to that point.
Just to get those parts, yeah, for sure.
I feel like there should be an option to start like new journey, start at like specific points, so that way you can get closer to like those. Like start at boss battles, because that way you can like do the boss battle and then, because in 4 years, if I just want to come back and fight Vader again and remember what happened, without just watching on YouTube, I feel like you shouldn't have to play the whole game to get to that point. They should incorporate that somehow.
I hear you.
But
yeah, Will Bond's right. There should be a boss run mode where you just fight the bosses.
Yeah, that would be like a very fine addition.
Yeah,
but I think that's going to do it for us. We did about 2.5 hours of this show. We really want to thank Sarah again for joining.
For sure,
she was very gracious with her time, and I felt bad that we had agreed on an hour and we already started 15 minutes late because my mic had given us some issues. That's why I'm wearing this uncomfortable ass headset, because whenever you wear glasses and these things like really hurt my ears after.
Yeah, they press into your head. Yeah,
and I'm not used to it because I don't wear these kind of headphones often.
Sure.
So I really want to thank her for sticking with us through that 15 minutes and then still doing a full hour with us. Like some very great insight, some behind the scenes. I hope that the listeners enjoyed that, getting the behind the curtain look at, or listen at how a sculptor views things.
And again, great butt talk.
Great butt talk for sure.
Great butt talk. Best butt talk I've had in a while.
The best Black Series butt talk you can find on the market right now, honestly.
That's what we'll call it.
Nobody's doing it better
Black Series
than this.
No, that's right. Black Series Cantina, episode 45, Butt Talk, featuring Sarah Lynn Reynolds.
Do you have any videos you're working on, or like where can we get, with a podcast is growing, not. We get new listeners all the time, so where can they follow you?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube. I mean, I haven't posted anything in a month, but I've got years worth of content you can go watch if you haven't. That's just my name at Mike Case. I'm on Instagram at Trusty Sidekick, and I'm on Twitter at Mike Case, and I'm on TikTok at Mike Case 82.
And we really want to appreciate everybody listening to the podcast. The numbers lately have been awesome. Like the podcast is growing. We can see the numbers increasing. Like we really, really thank everybody for tuning in.
If you haven't gone back to listen to episode 42, Return of the Plastic, that episode is breaking a record for us. And if you haven't listened to it for some reason, go listen to it.
Go download it at least. Give it a listen.
Go download it. Yeah, give us another download.
Yeah, and also go listen to our most recent episode if you haven't listened to that. So you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at The Star Wars Black Series. On TikTok, I think I am at 15.9 thousand now. So I'm less than 100 away from 16,000 on TikTok. So please go follow me there. Let's do the push to 20K is happening. Follow me there and join our Patreon, like we mentioned after our interview with Sarah. $2 tier, $5, $11.38, or the VIP. You get your own show. Like we have a VIP hangout if you join the VIP tier. We have one VIP, and he is awesome. I can't wait to see him next week in person, which Mike, I'll let you know if he's cool in person. You never know.
Cool, but
you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter at TBS Cantina. Join our Facebook group. That's where we put most of our updates about the podcast. Yeah, it's just Black Series Cantina. There are a couple questions to enter, but I'll let you in. And then email us if you come across like a figure article that we might have missed and you want us to cover on the show. It's blackseriescantina@gmail.com. Can't wait to talk to you all again in 2 weeks. Hopefully we have a reveal or two to talk about.
It would be nice. It would be real nice. Cool. Well, we'll talk to you later. Bye.